Jeff Ballard concluding his warm-up pitches. This was scheduled to be a 2:05 game. He came out of the bullpen about 2 o'clock, and it is now 2:17. And Brooks, how about the Chicago White Sox lineup? Nissan will be our sponsor throughout this season.
Well, they got a few new faces in this White Sox lineup. Leading off, the designated hitter today, Rock Raines. Hitting second, playing center field, Lance Johnson. At third base, the number 3 hitter, Robin Ventura. And hitting cleanup for this ball club, first baseman Frank Thomas. Behind the plate, a familiar face, Carlton Fisk. In left field, a fellow who came over from the Cleveland Indians, Corey Snyder. In right field, Sammy Sosa. The shortstop, Ozzie Guillen. And at second base, Scott Fletcher. On the mound for the Chicago White Sox, Jack McDowell. Now, let me ask you, Jim, about that. You're right. It's going to be more than 15 or 20, almost 20 minutes before this first pitch is thrown. And as you said, Ballard came out of the pen about 2:05. Do you have any way to know how you're going to feel?
Well, you do enough warming up, and I suppose that being pumped up as Jeff is coming off a great spring, that he warmed up in a hurry. So I'm sure he threw a lot of pitches, but because of the honored guard taking a little bit extra time to clear the field, he's getting ample time to warm up now. Of course, I think if you have your druthers, Brooks, what you'd like to do is come right out of that bullpen and start the game, but that's just not the case. And you know, he again coming off a confidence-building spring when he was 3-0, gave up a little over 3 runs a ball game, and what you can expect from Jeff Ballard, not a lot of strikeouts. 84 out of his 91 starts, he struck out 3 or less guys. He'll put the ball in play and hope that the White Sox will swing the bat early in the count.
Yeah, he's going to stay mostly on the outside part of the plate, and even in spring training, the one time I got to see Jeff throw, I thought he threw the ball a little better than he did last year. But he had a lot of things working against him last year. Shortened spring training, a couple of elbow operations, and he had a different routine this winter. So we'll see what happens. And welcome back, John. Nice job down there.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
They don't have any words left after all of that.
I'm telling you, I don't know how you did it. Then you made how'd you get up here?
I walked.
Okay, good.
Just to show Palmer I could do it. And I'm never going to do it again, I'll tell you that. Here we go, Mike Flanagan to Tim Raines. Strike 1 on the foul tip. Jeff Ballard. Well, that's right.
That's all right. You know, I tell you, with the greeting the Flanagan got, I mean, I'm crying up here because he got the biggest ovation of anything. Of course, as you said last week, you said he should be starting this game.
Would have been fun. Ballard, strike 2. Ballard, the pitcher, with Melvin back at the plate. And Rock Raines, used to be known as Tim, wants to be known as Rock from here on as he starts his life in a new league. And he's a guy who the last couple of years in the National League, his stats went down.
And he said it was because he did not get to perform what he's doing today, which is lead off. He said he prefers hitting lead off, does not like to bat third. Of course, they wanted somebody that could be more productive with some home runs, can also steal like Tim can. But tell you, considering what the White Sox did last year, they need a leadoff guy, and they have one.
1-2 the count. Ballard to get the speedy Raines, and he does. So there is one away, and we are definitely underway in this 38th Memorial Stadium Orioles opener. Brooks and Jim, you both played in so many. I imagine maybe you've been talking about it a little bit. Brooks, you played in your first one here when?
57 was my first opening day. Actually opened in Washington at Old Griffith Stadium, but came back here a few days later and opened up. But it still is exciting. John's sitting right here. I'm enjoying it.
Here's Lance Johnson, and he takes a strike, says Jeff Evans. This is the only ball game, by the way, that will not have the regular Major League umpires. These umpires have umpired in the past in the minor leagues, but all have either quit or retired or whatever from that until today. And they got one last game today. The Major League umpires will be here Wednesday. Ball and a strike to Lance Johnson, who's another speedster. You see the Orioles playing him close at third base. That's Worthington in shallow. Johnson, not a guy who muscles up, bunts a lot, tries to put the ball in play. He takes a lot of abuse from the bigger guys.
Hit Ballard real well last year, 5 for 10.
Of course, everybody hit him well last year.
Yeah, well, that's true, but on this ball club more so. Lance Johnson. Again, to go back to arm strength. The one thing, as Brooks said, coming off those elbow injuries, he did not have the velocity, also the lockout last year. Couldn't make the pitches he has to make.
2-2 pitch. This will be played by Glenn Davis, the new Oriole. And he gets his first unassisted put out. 2 men gone.
Now, there's a perfect example. 2-1 in the count. Good hitting count for Lance Johnson. Makes a real good pitch, 2-2, and then jams him 2-2. Ballard could not do that for most of the 1990 season.
Well, it shows he's got a little more confidence trying to get inside on him, and he made him pull his arms in to swing the bat, and a weak ground ball down to Davis.
You know what happens, Brooks, is that the hitters tell you don't have great stuff, and then you become tentative. And even though you may not walk guys, you don't make the good pitches. In other words, on the corners that you have to make.
Robin Ventura, the hitter, and he takes the curve for a strike, or the slider. 0-1 the count. I had a chance to visit with Larry Hines, the former White Sox general manager. He got fired last year despite building this ball club and responsible for many of the young players here. Strike 2 to Ventura. And he thinks the White Sox could win 95 games or more, and he thinks Ventura's going to be a key figure. Thinks he'll hit 270, 280, maybe drive in as many as 80 runs.
Well, he had a rough start last year, but he sure came on going down the stretch and ended up right almost 250. He went a 0-40, 0-for-41 stretch last year, and then sometime in, I think in June or August, or July or August, he had an 0-for-15 stretch down to 229. Then he came on fast, but Coburg might have some awful good, a lot of confidence in him because he's hitting third in this lineup.
He's stuck with him. 1-2 the count. A swing, says Jeff Evans, and he rings him up. And Jeff Ballard with a perfect first inning. Not many of those from him in 1990. So far, so good.
You take a look at it, it's a little breaking ball, and I'm going to tell you something. The umpire behind the plate is calling a lot of strikes today.
So, the Orioles will be coming up now. And there is no score in this ballgame. Jim, your first home opener.
We'll get back to that when we come back after this commercial.
When we come back.
It's a good car. Got some miles on it, but it's paid for. I'm not trading it in. Not now. No way.
Foreign or domestic car? If you're keeping it, Midas is the place to take it.
Making my car safe and reliable is smarter than buying a new one.
You get great values on shocks for safe handling, brakes you can depend on, and mufflers to quiet the ride. So if you're keeping it,
I know where to take it.
nobody beats Midas. Nobody.
Buy any Midas shocker strut until April 27th and get the second one for 50% off installed.
It's Cutlass Choice Days at your Gallup Men of Olds, and they've got major league deals on some of America's most popular cars. Make your best deal in Olds Cutlass Sierra Sedan with air, rear defogger, tilt wheel, and more, and we'll give you $1,600 cash back. Make a great deal on Cutlass Supreme with air, defogger, and sport appearance package, and get $2,100 cash back. Play ball! Take the field with the Gallup Men of Olds. These major league savings end soon.
This is Hardee's quarter-pound cheeseburger. Its dimensions about 64.65 millimeters bun to bun. The patty 12.65 millimeters of 100% thick, juicy beef. And for a limited time only, it's just 99 cents. Now, we believe there isn't a cheeseburger this thick and this high for this low in the business. So recently, we offered all the other fast food restaurant chains half the screen to compare their cheeseburgers to ours. But no film arrived. Obviously, they're afraid of height. Hardee's quarter-pound cheeseburger. It's very high, at a very low price, only Hardee's.
Vance's telecast is presented by authority of the Baltimore Orioles and may not be rebroadcast in any form without the express written consent of the Baltimore Orioles, who are now about to come up.
Did you like the lineup?
Yes.
All right. Leading off, playing center field, Mike Devereaux. In left field, hitting second, Randy Milligan. The shortstop, as usual, Cal Ripken. In the cleanup position, the first baseman, Glenn Davis. In right field, Dwight Evans. Sam Horn, the designated hitter today, hitting behind Sam Horn, Craig Worthington at third base. The catcher, Bob Melvin. Billy Ripken at second base, hitting ninth. And on the mound, as we saw, Jeff Ballard.
And
that is your Nissan lineup.
Oh, well done. Jack McDowell, who is in the offseason now a rock singer. He released his first single recording this winter. And there's a strike on the outside. Jim Palmer, tell us about Jack McDowell.
Well, he has 3 pitches, but you will see the fastball and the forkball. And speaking about rock, got rocked one time. That was a 3-run blast they're still talking about. The only run he really gave up all spring training. Apparently a tainted run in a B game. but he had a terrific spring coming off a 14-win year last year. And basically, we saw it, John, first game last year where he didn't throw the slider. Was a very successful start against Minnesota. It worked well for him, and he's still using that.
He misses low with that one. 2-1 to Mike Devereaux. Now, Devereaux went to spring training. He said, I have to be more patient. I got to quit swinging at bag pitches. And interestingly enough, it was for him a question of confidence. He said, I have to give myself credit that I have quick enough hands that I can wait that little extra to make sure it's a good pitch at which to swing. He pops this one up. Foul. Fisk coming back. But it drops safely onto the net as far as Devereaux.
Well, Brooks, it's something I think that we talked about last week, and you can amplify this, but Billy Ripken says you got to trust your hands. And Walt Reniak, the batting coach with Chicago, says the longer you can wait, you know, the less susceptible to being fooled by breaking balls. This is what Mike Devereaux said he's done. He's trying to be more patient and wait longer on the ball.
Now, Mike Devereaux has always been an inside half hitter, but you're right. When you've got to trust your hands. No one likes to get jammed. Everyone thinks they have to get those hands out. To wait a little longer, here we'll take a look at this pitch. There you see he had to reach for that ball, and it was a weak ground ball. It's going to be foul. But the thing is, you've got to be patient. Let the ball come to you. Don't jump out after it. And the thing that Devereaux is really not your prototype leadoff guy, but the most important thing is he's had a great spring. He had a great finish last year for the Orioles. So I just hope he does well. I tell you, you have to have that leadoff man if you're going to contend for the pennant.
Yeah, they like it to be Brady Anderson, but he probably had the worst of any Oriole hitter offensively.
Well, Devereaux was one of the best. He was up around 380, 390 all spring long. 2-2 the count. He was hampered last year with a hamstring pull that kept him from running the bases real well, but that's all cleared up now. He's capable of stealing some bases. He fouls that one back. 2-2 the count.
And McDowell can strike out a lot of guys. Struck out 9 already in one ball game in spring training. So he's the type of guy. 10 is his career high. But the pitch before, the little weak grounder, that's that fork ball. When he gets ahead, that's what he's going to polish you off with. That or the real good fastball. And he can make real good pitches away. And Fisk will move very well for a big guy.
That one just missing. And McDowell displeased with the umpire, Jeff Evans, who is also the crew chief for this one. Pete DeFlesco is the first base umpire. There's Jeff Evans, Sean Kimball at second, and Scott McDougal at third. They've all had some minor league experience in the past. 3-2 to Devereaux. That one into center. It will stay in the ballpark. Lance Johnson, one away.
I understand, John, this is the only this is the only ballpark where the regular umpires weren't able to work today. All the other, the umpires cannot get here in time for the game, but they will be working on Wednesday.
It'll make some interesting stories and how they got to some of these ballparks on such short notice. And when we got to RFK Stadium for the exhibition on Saturday, looked like they were going to be out for a while. In fact, yesterday it still looked that way.
Yeah, they negotiated a 4-year agreement, and it's a very good one.
Milligan hits a high pop-up. First ball swinging. This is Fletcher giving way to Sosa, the right fielder. Out number 2. That won't happen often. Milligan out on one pitch.
Well, didn't get a chance to say much about Randy, but I think the number 2 spot is a good spot for him because he's very patient. Doesn't mind hitting when it counts for 2 strikes on him. So we'll see what happens.
2 down. Jim, you're saying about that.
Well, no, the highlight, obviously they got more money. They came to an agreement which will be good for both the players and the umpires. But the thing here that I see, it says here, the leagues will select umpires for postseason games and jewel events at their own discretion and solely on merit. It's the best thing that I've heard in a long time. Umpires do a very good job, but it should be on merit, especially the important playoffs and World Series. None of this rotation system.
Hard to find anybody who wouldn't agree with that. Here's Cal Ripken. 2 down, nobody on, no score. And he chases that first one and doesn't get it. Strike 1. Brooks, you saw Cal in the spring. He had the stance he's using here, feet a little further apart, bent at the knees a little bit, a little closer up to the plate, and he was driving the ball to all fields.
Oh, just amazing. I tell you what, he looks good. I've never seen Cal Ripken look any better than I saw him this spring. The games that I did have a chance to take a look at him, but I like everything I see about Ripken right now.
Ball and a strike to count.
Yeah, around 250, Brooksy, and what Tom McCraw said was this, from what he understands, because he wasn't here, this is the way he stood as far as balance and wide stance when he hit over 300, about 319 that one year.
Well, he's using all the ballpark, driving the ball right center, left center.
And he hasn't really the last few years.
No.
And pulling that shoulder out, trying to pull everything, it seemed.
John, you cannot go through a season and change stances 20 or 30 times. I mean, you've got to find something, feel comfortable, and stick with it. And we saw Cal change many, many times last year. But I think the fact that you have Glenn Davis here, and he feels more comfortable now than he has in the last couple of years.
Well, the White Sox figure him to pull. Everybody pulled toward left field against Cal, particularly that infield, the left side of the infield. They're all way over. There's Glenn Davis on deck. He would be next. The center fielder, Lance Johnson, is way over into left center. This is the 2-1 pitch through the middle. And there's the first hit of the year for Cal Ripken.
Well, you get a ball out over the middle of the plate, and he just bounces it right back up the middle. McDowell unable to come up with it, and Ripken, first hit of his 1991 season.
And that really does result in a better average. If you're a pitcher, you take a little bit off, you make a good pitch down, you get a ground ball, but you're playing him to pull, like you said, John. So it allows a guy like Glenn Davis to come up in the first inning. Tell you what, the way he hits home runs, it could be 2-0 before we know it.
He is really pumped for this game, Glenn Davis. I mean, he's never played a home opener before a crowd this big or this vocal. Houston crowds were generally very low-key, indoors. And that one is a called strike.
Yeah, that's the curveball that Sammy Ellis, the pitching coach of the White Sox, said that McDowell will use. He said he's not the type of guy that's going to, like Mike Boddicker, where if it's 2-0, he's going to throw you that curveball, but he'll show it to you, and then may never use it again to Glenn Davis, maybe later in the ball game. But that just accompanies the other two pitches and gives the hitter to look to something else to look for.
Yeah, if you're a hitter, you think about it now.
One strike to count, and the ball inside. 2 down, runner at first. Jack McDowell, the White Sox opening day starter. He pitched a very memorable game here in which he struck out 10 Orioles last July, but lost the game to Ben McDonald. McDonald's first start, he pitched a shutout, went the distance, and 2 very fine young pitchers on display that night, but McDonald was just a little bit better. 1 ball, 1 strike to count. That curveball is lined down the left field line. Fair ball into the corner, and it's in play. Here comes Cal on his way to third. He's going to try to score, and he will. 2 bases for Davis, 1-0 Orioles.
Well, I think you can get a look at how strong he is. Look, that's a pretty good pitch, although it hangs right in the middle of the plate. He reaches out, drills it down the left field corner. Now, Corey Snyder comes up with this ball. A little inexperience out there, too. Cannot hold on to it. Bobbles it just enough time for Ripken to come all the way from first base, and Glenn Davis has a double. The Orioles on the board 1-0.
Now here is Dwight Evans. Now, Dwight is a fellow who has a spot in the record books. There's a called strike. In 1986, he hit the first pitch of the entire Major League season for a home run in Detroit. He was leading off, facing Jack Morris. First pitch of the game, fastball, and he blasted it out of the park. And that's the only time in Major League history that ever happened. The very first pitch of the entire season, not just for the Red Sox and Tigers, of the entire Major League season. And later he said that in spring training of that year, when he learned Morris was going to start, and he was hitting leadoff anyway, he said, I'm going for the home run, very first pitch. He's going to throw me a fastball. I'm going to get a pitch to hit, and I'm going for the downs.
How about that?
Well, that's the way he does hit. He said, you know what, you got to do, you have to determine what they're going to throw and look for a fastball, but look inside or outside.
2 strikes, and he fights that one off.
You know, he said again, that's what he said. He misses about the game. He said when Yaz was there, you know, talking about in Boston, a lot of the guys in the old days, they used to sit in the locker room and talk about what does this guy throw to you? What does he start you off with? So you can look tendencies. And again, I'm not talking just looking fastball. I'm looking fastball inside half, and that's the type of hitter that Dwight Evans is. As you look at Sam Horn on deck.
Well, Glenn Davis out at second with that double, his first at bat. Delivering a run. They scored it, a double and an RBI all the way, no error. And fork ball Strike three. Yep. That's the inning. Tough pitch by McDowell. But Glenn Davis, so far so good. Got to take away the few of the butterflies right away for him. 1-0 Orioles at the end of one. And the 38th and final home opener.
Alan, Frank Robinson, we need you. And bring your equipment.
They need me.
Alan?
Yes, Frank.
Alan, we need some copiers.
Then you want an altar copiers.
And some fax machines.
Then you want advanced fax machines.
Sure.
Alan Elkin of Advance. Great equipment, great service, lousy curveball.
A few small towns in western Pennsylvania have produced more football legends than any other place. Dan Marino, Johnny Unitas, George Blanda. What is it about these towns that gives birth to such greatness? The very things that drive us at Ford. When leadership is in your blood, you push yourself to even greater heights. In fact, starting right now, you'll be seeing more new models and exciting innovations from Ford than you've seen in years. Ford Motor Company.
Since 1961, when Dwayne got his first and only Cub Cadet tractor, he's gone through several changes, while his Cub Cadet has remained faithfully the same. No wonder. It's built tough the American way, without resorting to imported parts, with that cast front axle and a welded steel frame that lasts and lasts. It's kept Dwayne's little corner of the world trim and fit. Unfortunately, it couldn't do the same for Dwayne. Cub Cadet, tough tractors for your little corner of the world.
Maryland National Bank will bring you today the Maryland National Bank scoreboard. All the up-to-minute scores and happenings around the league. Compliments of Maryland National Bank. Let the largest bank in Maryland work for you.
That was Brooks Robinson. Brooks, it's another home opener.
Hey, John, I love it.
When you were a player and you come here for the home opener,
yeah.
I mean, did you have butterflies? Were you kind of tense?
Oh, absolutely. I've said this many times today because of all the interviews we've done, but you know, when you play 162 games, how many times when you run out on that field do you feel it inside? Very, very seldom. But opening day, listen, if you don't feel it inside then, you're not human. And it is exciting, and consequently, I did pretty good in opening days. Let me see, I hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 home runs, 6 RBIs.
Opening days. Now, not many have hit that many. Dwight Evans is one. I think he's hit 5. This is Frank Thomas, by the way, the young slugger of the White Sox. 1 strike to count. The Orioles ahead for Ballard, 1-0. And that's just a lazy fly ball. Devereaux going back. A lazy fly ball to the wall at the 387 marker.
Well, that's a pretty indication how big and strong this fellow is.
Boy.
He was a tight end for Auburn, and I think he led the interference for Bo Jackson down there, but he put up some very impressive numbers the last month of the season last year.
Yeah,
you're going to hear about a lot about him.
Had a little interference on my lazy fly ball line there. Jim, I started asking about your first opener, home opener with the Orioles. We didn't get around
I don't
to it.
even really remember when I first pitched. I know it was probably not till the 70s because we had, you know, the great pitching staffs with McNally and Cuellar and whatever, but some exciting games. The most memorable was Brooks hitting the fly ball that Cesar Tovar is going to catch, but it's going to go over the wall if he doesn't catch it, and he hits his head on top of the fence, and it pile drives him into the ground, and then Brooks does that long run around the bases.
He had a slow trot, did he?
No. Not as slow as Kurt Bleffery's.
Speaking of
kind
slow,
at about 1 minute and 33 seconds one day. No, Brooks, actually, you sprint. You were flat out that day, I think.
Speaking of slow, here's Carlton Fisk, who does everything deliberately, slowly, and he does it with great durability because this is his 20th season now.
43 years old.
Base hit. Carlton Fisk. Another on the list. Fisk already has hit more home runs than any catcher in Major League history, more than Barra, more than Bench, and he's right up there with him. One of those guys who stays in great shape year-round.
Well, here you see a big breaking ball. Pretty good pitch from Ballard, and he just reaches out, rakes it to left field. And you're right. Well, Carlton Fisk on his way to the Hall of Fame, John.
Surgery on both knees to get ready for the 91 season. Led the club in home runs last year with 18. Really just leaving off where he left off from spring training. Hit 391. Didn't play that much, about 10 ball games.
Corey Snyder, the hitter, and he takes ball one outside.
Here's a guy in the 3 out of the last 4 openers. He is homered, so likes to hit opening day.
Well, he's got a new lease on life over here. Let's see if it works. He was a player who really just failed to adjust the last couple of years.
And Worthington cannot hold on to it. So everybody's safe. An error to Worthington. 2 men on.
Brooks, they get the force at second, but as a third baseman, do you just figure you're going to make this play?
Well, yeah. You'll see Corey have to reach for this ball. This is not a bad play by Worthington. He's over there. He reaches down. It's a little tough play for him. He's got it, but he doesn't get it out of his glove cleanly. But if you're a third baseman, you take everything you can take. That's the only way you're going to get 2 on that is for the third baseman to take it. Ripken was there also if he does not come up with it. But it's an error on Worthington, and now 1 away, first and second.
This is Sammy Sosa now, the young right-handed hitting slugger. He appears to have lost his regular everyday job, at least for now. Snyder had a great spring and better than Sosa, who's now going to platoon at least for now. There's a curve for a strike. 0-1. 1-0 Orioles. 1 out. 2 men on. We're in the second inning here at the stadium. The warmest day for a home opener in the history of the ballpark. 88 degrees.
Yeah, we heard up here in 89, so by the time you left the field, it's gotten warmer by a degree.
Well,
but Sosa, a much better hitter against lefties. It figures that Jeff Torborg will maybe platoon out there. You know, 283 versus 205 against right-handers. At 22, though, I guess what they're looking at is a guy that may be a superstar, at least has that type of tools.
He's got great speed. He has a very fine arm in the outfield. He's got power. And still just a baby, very young.
Well, he was on the way to breaking the White Sox all-time strikeout record last year. He ended up with 150, but at one time they thought he was going to do about 180, which would have broken Dave Nicholson's 177.
And we know what his nickname was.
What was it?
Swish.
Swish.
Yeah. Swish Nicholson.
Dave Swish Nicholson.
I thought we could maybe call that whole Tiger Club Swish this year. They picked up Pete Incaviglia last night. Mickey Tedelin's a strikeout guy. Cecil Fielder, Rob Deere. They may have 4 guys all go for the major league record on the same team.
Yeah, but Sparky says, I don't care. He says an out's an out.
They all say that when they get guys to strike out, don't they? That's a little bit low. 2-2 the count to Sosa. Ballard in some trouble here in the second inning. He's got a lead, but the White Sox have 2 men on with just the 1 out. And Ozzie Guillen is on deck.
This White Sox team 40-25 against left-handers last year. They handled them real well.
2-2. Ballard delivers. And that was a close one. 3-2.
You know, I find this very interesting. Ballard wears 29. Jack McDowell wears 29. Both went to Stanford. Ballard, the all-time winner, 37 wins while at Stanford University. McDowell, 35. They played on the 85 team together.
Yeah, McDowell broke Ballard's strikeout record at Stanford.
First time they faced one another.
Yeah, but McDowell...
Really contrasting pitching.
McDowell's never struck out Don Mattingly 3 times in a game.
I don't know who else. I don't know who has.
It's the only guy in bed. It's the only time it ever happened. 2 years ago.
Jeff Ballard, who struck out maybe 2 or 3 per 9 innings, struck out Mattingly 3 times in the same game one night. Go figure. That was on that play. First baseman Glenn Davis broke in behind the runner at first, the trailing runner, Corey Snyder. Ballard ended up holding the ball.
Well, 3-2, they may be running. Of course, it's a great time to put a pickoff play on. Maybe keep the runners a little bit closer to the bag.
They're not running. That one is hit deep into left field. Back goes Milligan. This one has a chance. It is gone. A 3-run homer for Sammy Sosa. And the White Sox have jumped ahead 3-1. It's left-handers well indeed.
Well, that was the ball. I don't know what it was, but it was up above the belt, I'll tell you, and he got all of it. A line drive to left field. Milligan didn't have much time except to turn around and watch it fly over his head. 3-1. The White Sox.
Last thing you expect, Brooks, is for you to hit a home run, because 3-2 can't make the pitch you want to make. You set up in the strike zone. Sosa, who hits left-handers so well and most likely will play pretty much in that role, I mean, hammers it, and as you said, 3-1.
Now here is Ozzie Guillen. And not so surprisingly, he swings to that first pitch. He swings just about everything. 1 strike to count.
I wanted to say he has become a little more disciplined, but I don't know if he has or not, to tell you the truth. But he did have his best year offensively last year. Hit over 300 most of the year, but you have to be impressed with this guy. He's just an outstanding shortstop, and certainly the controversy rages that he won the Gold Glove instead of Cal Ripken.
1 strike to count. Ballard can't get it. Cal does. And he nails him at first by a step. That is the second out. Guillen, by the way, just for the record, hit .279 last year, equaling his best batting average. And he had 516 at-bats and drew 26 walks, his highest walk total ever.
Yeah.
Which is not saying much.
He's very much like Mookie Wilson, who now plays with Toronto. Used to get up about 660 times for the Mets and walk 18 times.
It's an insult, a walk.
In fact, Tony Kubek, who does Yankee baseball, I said, you know, one year you're up 628 times, you walked 26 times. He said, would you walk with Mantle and those guys? He said, they never walked me. They walked those other guys.
Strike 1 to Scott Fletcher, the 9th place hitter. 3-1 White Sox, 2 down, nobody on. We're in the 2nd inning. Sammy Sosa had 15 home runs last year for the White Sox. He's already gone deep today. Fletcher takes low. Fletcher also got off to a terrible start last year.
Never really got it going. Yeah, I don't know the reason, but he just could not get the base hits last year.
Yeah, average-wise, but when you were driving 56 runs and you make 9 errors and like 750 total chances, what you've done is help that pitching staff.
2-1 the count. I saw Lou Piniella this spring in Sarasota. The Reds were playing the White Sox. He was talking about the White Sox roster and asking who was playing where. And somebody mentioned Fletcher at second base, and Piniella said, I look at him as a utility player. I can play all over, but not a regular. 2-1 the count. Devereaux. And that is the inning. But the Orioles are going to have to play catch-up. White Sox with 3 runs, 2 hits. There was 1 error. And we have played 1.5 innings. White Sox 3, Orioles 1.
Shine a light on you, shine a light on me. Keep your Bud Light shining for everyone to see. Shine a light on this, shine a light on that. Outshining all the others is with Bud Light.
When you're looking good, you want Bud Light. The clean, fresh taste won't fill you up and never let you down.
You can taste it, you can feel it. You know you got it right. Everything else is just a light. Keep your Bud.
This is a Heckinger? It's great. It's new, no? The prices.
This week, pay just $8.99 for Scott's Turf Builder. Turf Builder Plus 2, just $11.99. And if you're working with wood, treat it right. Save now on all Minwax products. Minwax wood stain is just $4.44 a quart.
Great prices. I'm impressed.
Price is good at all Baltimore Heckingers.
It's got it all. Hey, what happened to your gray hair? You noticed, huh? Well, I'd have done it too, but I worried about it looking phony. Does mine look phony? It looks natural. How'd you do it? Clairol Option. Clairol Option? Clairol Option for men. Clairol knows natural-looking color, and there's no pouring and mixing. My hair even feels thicker. So how long is it going to take me to look like your twin again? Just 5 minutes. That easy.
Clairol Option for men.
You were right. You know something? If you're going to do it right.
Channel 2 News, voted outstanding news operation by the Chesapeake Associated Press. Channel 2, friends you can turn to for your news.
The designated hitter, number 15.
John Miller, Jim Palmer, Brooks Robinson. Your Orioles telecasters. Opening day, 1991. And a year from today, or roughly, we'll be down at Camden Yards for the home opener.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, too. Still waiting to see what they're going to name that ballpark, John.
What's your favorite?
I don't have any favorites. I'm kind of stayed away from that controversy. I don't think it's going to be Babe Ruth Stadium. That's my own opinion.
I said Oriole Park. You placate a lot of people that way. It's not very exciting.
Camden Yards, everybody's going to call it. We're going to the yard. Campton Yards.
The yard.
That's baseball vernacular. Where are you going?
Going to the yard.
They named Fenway Park because it was in the Fenway area. The Fens. Haven't been many stadiums named for that reason since Fenway, and you've got the perfect opportunity with Camden Yards. I like Babe Ruth Park also. I know that's controversial, but he used to frolic in what will be center field. He used to live down there. And, of course, his name means baseball. And we know about him as a Baltimorean, but nobody else, I think, around the country knows about him. And I don't think we're having any confusion. Babe was a Yankee so many years. The Yankee Stadium is fairly famous. I don't think it's going to confuse anybody.
Certainly synonymous with baseball. And we have a guest, John, the Vice President of the United States. What do you think they should name the new ballpark in Baltimore? How about that for a controversy?
That's just what I told him, Mr. Vice President.
Oh. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Sam Horn. Worthington and Melvin to follow. And he struck him out. The Vice President of the United States, Dan Quayle, has stopped in. And Mr. Vice President, welcome to our telecast. And I thought it was a very moving ceremony. And you handpicked the members of the 5 services who appeared here today.
Yes, I made an invitation to him, and it didn't take him too long to say yes. I had met him down in my office earlier today, and I thought it was very important to pay tribute, and Eli Jacobs was very nice to allow me to invite him.
Well, I thought the crowd appreciated it, and there was kind of a moving tribute.
I loved your jacket, too.
I was doing a little hometown promotion there with the Orioles.
We like that.
But I went over and said hello to the White Sox.
No, that's all right. They had a great year last year.
94 games?
94 wins.
94 wins.
1-0 the count to Worthington. 1 out, nobody on here in the second. White Sox ahead 3-1. And Mr. Vice President, you ever do any play-by-play?
I've done a little bit of play-by-play. I don't know how good I am, but want me to try a little bit?
Yeah.
All right.
Let me tell you who's hitting. Craig Worthington's hitting for the Orioles.
All right. And
here's the lineup, as a matter of fact, right here.
The count is 2 balls and no strikes. 1 out. Well, 1 strike, 2 balls.
Were you a ball player, Mr. Vice President?
I played Little League, and that's the extent of my baseball career. I wasn't good enough to play with Jim Palmer out at Scottsdale High School in the
same high school,
Beavers.
John. Scottsdale High School. Were you a golfer then?
I played golf in the springtime. Every once in a while. And every time I do, you know about it.
Well, no, I saw you hit a pretty good shot over at Manor Country Club one day on a par 3 over the lake. You flew in and made the shot and took right off.
Yeah, I know. And the guy I was playing with, he had a birdie and he was asking for a stroke. Can you imagine that? He was in the news media.
Now, you're the play-by-play man. You're in charge. Don't let these guys distract you.
All right, 2-2. Ground short. Easy play. He's out of there. Need a few hits.
Yeah, I think we're going to need a few before the day's over. That's for sure.
Yeah.
What kind of a pitch did he throw when he went over the left field fence?
The wrong one, as a matter of fact. So let's kind of. Oh, here we go. There it is. Well, this is the pitch to ground ball, which was another fork ball. Guillen, who did win the Gold Glove last year, very controversially, makes the easy play. A couple busy months the last year. Over the last.
It has been, but things turned out well, and it's just a delight to see the response of the crowd when the troops are introduced. And they deserve every ounce of applause they get.
Bob Melvin, the hitter down, 2 down, nobody on. We're in the second, 3-1. White Sox are ahead. Do you have a chance to follow baseball, or are you too busy?
I wish that I could say that I could tell you all the names of the players. When I was growing up in Huntington, Indiana, my mother and father listened to baseball at night, and they listened to the White Sox, as a matter of fact. And I can remember as a kid on the score tally sheet staying up late some nights and doing it inning by inning, pitch by pitch over the radio.
Well, you might have you and she may have listened to Bob Elson, the commander.
Bob Elson, you're absolutely right. Those
1 and 2 to Melvin.
Days of Nellie Fox and Moose Scourin and Billy Pierce.
That's right, Billy Pierce.
Billy Pierce. And Virgil Trucks in that era, too.
Well, the Orioles are dispatched quickly and quietly. Wish we had some excitement there for you to talk about.
Well, so do I. Excitement for the Orioles.
Can you stay with us for a little while longer?
I'll be glad to.
All right. Jim Palmer, Brooks Robinson, John Miller, and our new broadcast partner, Vice President Quayle.
Nissan started a few years ago with cold rolled steel and a hot idea to build the best. First came the twin turbo Z, and it was judged the best. Then the Maxim, and it was called the best as well. Now come the 1991 Sentras, and they're called the best. In fact, in the last 2 years, Nissan's new lineup has won more major awards than anyone, 17 in all. Nissan. We started out making cars. We ended up making history.
Baseball isn't always easy, or painless, or pretty. But with 2 boxes of Kellogg's Frosted Flakes or Kellogg's Raisin Bran, baseball's free. Just clip the vouchers from the box, redeem them for a ticket, and you're in the game. Choose from any of these exciting dates. See package for more details. So don't drop the ball. Catch a free game. But hurry, this offer's going. Kellogg's Frosted Flakes and Kellogg's Raisin Bran, your ticket to the game.
Warning, cold starts can be tough on your car's engine because your motor oil might not reach some of its parts for a full minute. Fact, independent lab tests confirm whether it's 35 below zero or 50 above. Quaker State 10W30 gets to all your engine parts faster than other leading 10W30s. At 40 degrees, it's 3 times faster. So don't let cold starts make it tough on your engine. Get Quaker State. It's one tough motor oil.
The Chicago White Sox leading 3-1 as we head to the 3rd inning here at the stadium. And it's our new broadcast partner, the Vice President of the United States, Dan Quinn. Now, you didn't do a whole lot of play-by-play. I think you need a little more work on that. So
All right. Here's Raines is up. Or what's his average here? You got his average?
Well, he had a good sprint.
He had a good sprint. 306. That's not bad. If he can keep that up, he'll get a raise.
You know, one of the amazing things is he's a switch hitter. Lifetime 301 for both sides of the plate. But was just as good right-handed as he is left-handed.
That's unusual, isn't it?
Well, yeah. He's an unusual player. Lifetime batting average over 300. Sure is.
All right, let's see what we can do here. Just outside.
I think
sort of like my pitch.
Yeah, we noticed that.
Did you notice that?
Just got away from you just a little, didn't it?
It was high and to the right. As I told someone,
our broadcasting that does the PA here, Rex Barney, that's the way they described him.
There we go to left field. Easy out. 1 down, only 2 to go.
You haven't seen Randy Milligan play left field, but that was an easy out. But going back to Rex Barney, that's the way to describe him. The boys of summer pitched like the strike zone was high and outside.
That would have had to have been a pretty big player swinging wildly before they're going to go after my pitch, I'm afraid.
Well, when when the president was here a couple years ago, threw out the first pitch, he was advised. He'd asked Nolan Ryan about it ahead of time, and Ryan said, guys always go out there and they bounce the pitch in. It looks bad. Make sure you throw it high. I thought it was impressive. Had a lot of power behind it.
And he warmed up for 15 minutes in the locker room with a vest on, a Kevlar vest. That's not easy.
No, it's not. It's very uncomfortable.
Come on.
It helps the fastball, though.
Yeah.
Okay, Lance Johnson, 259 batting average. Let's see what he's up to.
He had some big years in the minor leagues in the Cardinal organization and was up with the White Sox, sent back down, but finally got his feet on the ground last year, and I think it's going to add a lot to this offense for White Sox.
That was an easy one, Jim?
Yes.
Okay.
It's the Ripken. The reason I said that Randy Milligan playing the outfield this year for the first time for the Orioles, so this is a new position for him. So there is no such thing as a routine fly ball to left, at least not early in the season.
It's a wise idea to clear it with Jim first, though. I think
that's right. I said, Jim, that's an easy one. I don't want to get corrected too often.
No, that's all right. I'm sorry, I lost my...
I plan to do that, too, all season.
I worked with Cosell for about 9 years, you know, so I got used to doing it, correcting.
And you're still doing it, huh?
Yes, I guess so. Nice of you to point it out, though.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm here for.
I know that.
But this is the opening day, folks. Are you going to make it through the whole year? If you have any problems, just call me. There's a ball.
Are you difficult to get a hold of?
No, you just call the White House. They'll run me down. But I'm not sure I'm available for play-by-play anytime on it.
Well, we usually don't have 3 in the booth. That's the vice president. Usually just the 2 of us. And, yeah. But today we 4 in the booth. That's got to be a record.
just like Jim's ABC days.
All right, Ventura, he's got a 258 average.
Had some problems with left-hand pitching last year, Ventura, more than anything else. I had a nice chat with him before the game and made 25 errors last year, struggled most of the year, but the thing I told him is it takes a year or so to really get your feet on the ground, and he's going to make less errors this year. A lot of errors were just throwing errors that didn't have a chance to get a runner, make a bad throw, but I know that after my first full year at third base, I felt like that I started improving, cutting down on the errors, being a little better hitter, so he's got a lot to look forward to. This kid's going to be around for a long time.
He's out of there. Strikeout number, what, 2 so far.
Play-by-play provided on this final home opener by the Vice President of the United States, Dan Quayle. You were outstanding.
Call the strikes and balls just like the scoreboard recorded it.
And we understand you have to be going, but thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Growing up, I didn't have a lot of things, but I always felt that my family worked for everything they had, and I think that carried over with me. I wouldn't say I'm physically gifted. I can't run or jump. Practice, practice, practice. Every time I go to the free throw line, I think all net. So no matter how hard you work or how hard you try, there's always somebody out there a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger. I don't know why God chose me to play professional basketball, but thank God he did.
Okay, they got it to you fast, but this isn't a real lunch, so you pay extra to get a complete meal. Complete? Where's the food groups? Where's the plates?
At Sizzler, new weekly lunch specials. Complete meals, fast. Every week, choose between 2 delicious specials. Grilled to order chicken, sandwiches, and juicy steaks. Served with a new freshly tossed salad and bottomless drink. $3.99 for a limited time. Real lunch, real fast.
Sizzler. That's a great deal. So why are you whispering?
Hello?
Yes, Miss Maisie McCorkle. This is Captain Merrill Stubing from the Royal Cruise Line.
Yes.
You're booked on a cruise Saturday?
Yes, I am.
Really sorry to say we're overbooked and we have to bump you out of your quarters.
Wait, no. I've had this book for 18 months.
See, we overbooked to make sure the boat is full.
This must be a mistake, because I paid my ticket
Yeah, we
already.
could put you up in the crew quarters.
Wait a minute.
You could have Isaac's bed.
Look, are you
a married woman, Mrs. McCorkle?
No, I'm not.
This is perfect. Our ship's doctor, Adam Bricker.
I am traveling with friends.
Orioles Baseball 1991 is being brought to you in part by Bob Davidson Ford and by Giant Food.
Show back at Memorial Stadium, an all-time record high, 89 degrees here at the stadium today. Got some fans from Aberdeen. How are we doing in the heat?
Okay, Scott, we come down here to root for Cal and all the gang, and we hope that they win today. They got behind a little bit, but I'm quite sure they'll come back and win.
All right, let's go back upstairs to John Miller. John?
While the fellow from Aberdeen was chatting, the other fellow from Aberdeen, Bill Ripken, grounds out the short, 1 away. And we go to the top of the order for Mike Devereaux. White Sox 3, Orioles 1. That's the score. The Orioles have 2 hits. Devereaux flied to center his first time. Thanks to the Vice President for stopping by and seemed to enjoy himself, and I thought his minimalist approach to the play-by-play was probably much appreciated by our viewers. Why doesn't the other guy take that advice? 1 strike to count to Devereaux.
You have a way of doing that, though. I remember when you walked out of the booth down in Miami years ago. Have you ever done play-by-play, Jim? No. Well, you are going to now. And with that, he went to get a hot dog.
Pitch is a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike to Devereaux.
Brooks, we saw the range of Guillen, but you talked about Ventura with 25 errors. Guillen made 17, Cal made 3. What is a normal amount of errors? Not for a shortstop, but for a third baseman. I mean, is 25 a lot?
I think 25 is a whole lot, yeah. 10 to 15, I think, is pretty normal for a third baseman. But as I said before, Ventura, most of his errors were just throwing errors, balls that he made a great play, maybe get up, throw it away, and that just comes with playing, getting a little experience. I mean, I really like this kid. He's going to be a good player.
Devereaux down on strikes, and Jack McDowell with 4 strikeouts already in this one. We're only in the 3rd.
Again, this season in every televised Oil game, we're going to have a Ronald McDonald House inning. The way it works is for every run scored by the O's in the Ronald McDonald House inning, a donation $100 per run will be made to Baltimore Ronald McDonald House, courtesy of the Greater Baltimore Area McDonald's and WMAR-TV. Tonight's inning, or today's inning, going to be the 4th inning.
I was going to say, I hope it's soon.
I hope it's soon, too. We need it.
Ball 1 to Randy Milligan. He, on the first pitch from McDowell, on the first pitch he saw, fly to shallow right. 2 down, nobody on.
Well, Brooks, you know, we talk many times about hitting approaches. The Orioles, I think from a team standpoint, they led the league in walks last year. You think that Randy swinging at more pitches early in the count is something that he's doing consciously? You know, maybe give the pitchers another look?
No, I think Randy's probably made up his mind to be a little more aggressive this year, not take as many pitches as he did last year, because, you know, I think that there was some controversy that he doesn't swing enough. And, you know, he's moved up in the lineup. And the reason he's up there is because he does take a lot of pitches. He's got a good eye, gets a lot of walks. That's a plus, too. I think that the key to this ball club is for the guys like Milligan to get on the base, guys like Devereaux to get on base, because you've got some pretty good hitters when you talk about Ripken, Davis, and Evans coming up there, and Sam Harn. So get on for the big guys. Thought he had strike 3, didn't he?
Yeah.
We'll take a look at it here. Oh, that's a strike. Came right back.
Foul ball there.
And the strike zone has gotten a little bit smaller. A big one in the first inning, and Jeff Evans has adjusted his strike zone. He's doing a pretty good job, and now it looks like if you're a hitter or a catcher or a pitcher, you have an idea what's a strike and what isn't.
Cal Ripken would be next. 2 down, nobody on. If Milligan can get aboard, Cal will swing.
I think the big question with Randy is playing left field. In other words, being out of position going to affect his hitting.
Well,
3 and 2.
He is going to have a tough time in left field. I mean, he does not get the real good jump on the ball out there, so you're putting him out there and you're hoping he gets better, but he is going to struggle in left field. I don't think that's really going to affect his hitting.
2 down, 3 and 2 the count to Milligan. That is a fair ball. See if Ventura can get him. No! Base hit for Milligan.
Well, that's about as good as you can do it right there. Great play by Ventura, great throw by Ventura, but Milligan, who runs well, here you'll see 3-2. He comes right after him. Milligan out in front. Great play by Ventura. Has a little trouble getting up, but a great throw, but Milligan beats it. Close play at first base.
Pete DeFlesco, the substitute umpires making the call over there. There's Ventura. Took extra bases away from Milligan. 3rd hit for the Orioles. The first one was gotten by this man, Cal Ripken, a single to center. And then later he scored the Orioles run on a double by Glenn Davis. 2 down, Milligan at first. Thomas will play him on the bag. 3-1 White Sox in the 3rd. High fly ball. Sosa with the glasses down. Routine play. And just like that, the inning is over. The 1 hit for the Orioles. And they leave 1. And we are a third of the way through this final home opener at the stadium. White Sox 3, Orioles 1.
At Meineke Discount Mufflers, one thing we never discount is service. Because at Meineke, nothing is unimportant.
Wild thing. It is a wild thing. Oh, come shout and sing, join in the ring. It could be queen or it could be king. You go your way and I'll go mine. As long as you just make it fine.
Good times roll with the clean, fresh taste of Bud Light. It won't fill you up, never let you down.
Wild thing. La, la, wild thing.
Nissan started a few years ago with cold rolled steel and a hot idea to build the best. First came the twin turbo Z, and it was judged the best. Then the Maxim, and it was called the best as well. Now come the 1991 Sentras, and they're called the best. In fact, in the last 2 years, Nissan's new lineup has won more major awards than anyone, 17 in all. Nissan. We started out making cars. We ended up making history.
In Baltimore, they say, if you don't like the weather, just wait a minute. For this, you need a weather team you can turn to through the highs and lows. Come rain or shine, day or night, 7 days a week. So if accurate, up-to-the-minute forecasting is important to you,
we'll let you know what to expect.
Watch Norm Lewis, Ken Phillips, and Don O'Brien on Channel 2 News. Friends you can turn to for Baltimore's best forecast.
The Coca-Cola dealers are donating $100 per Orioles broadcast to the favorite charity of the Coca-Cola Classic Player of the Game. The Orioles player will be selected at the end of the game. So stay right here, and we hope you'll choose along with us as we select the Coca-Cola Classic Player of the Game.
And there is Mrs. Cal Ripken. The lovely Kelly Ripken joined the ball game today. Summer like day, could be July out here.
Think back to 1954. I just got the weather report. 57 degrees, 15 to 20 mile an hour winds blowing. So this is a lot better, John.
And it rained all morning that day. Talking to Bob Turley, the Orioles starting pitcher that day. The Orioles had taken the train in from Detroit, where they played their first 2 games. Arrived here in the morning in the rain. They changed as Frank Thomas takes a strike from Ballard. They changed into the uniforms on the train. And then when they get off the train at Penn Station, they got into a parade to the ballpark. Some reports saying as many as 350,000 people lining the parade route. They said it was the largest parade that had ever been seen in Baltimore, the largest turnout for a parade. They got here and it was pouring down rain. And Turley says his first memory of this ballpark is coming out. It was raining and there were 40,000 plus people here. And he was astounded. They finally, the rains cleared away and they played the ball game, 46,000 plus. And the Orioles won it 3-1.
Yeah, I thought it was very nice the way he put it. He said, unfortunately, Virgil Truck's team didn't score very many runs that day. That was because he was on the mound.
Well, I ran into a gentleman the other day by the name of Chico Carrasquel. And Chico Carrasquel, if you want a little trivia, was the first major league hitter to ever step to the plate here in 1954. Led off for the White Sox against Bob Turley. The first pitch that Turley threw, line drive base hit to center field. He said, don't you let anybody forget that I got the first hit in Memorial Stadium. So, good piece of history.
2-2 pitch to Thomas. A high fly ball, shallow left. Milligan on the move, and he takes it. Thomas, who flied out to the wall in left center his first time, is the first out here in the 4th.
Yeah, another home run swing, but just got under it. The impressive thing about Frank Thomas, 156 walks between Double-A and the major leagues. You don't see many young hitters with that type of selectiveness at the plate.
He had about maybe a third of a season in the big leagues last year. Hit .330 and also walked 44 times. Well, had some numbers. Here's Carlton Fisk, who singled in the second with 1 out and started a three-run White Sox rally.
Brooks, how many years did it take you to really learn the strike zone, or did you know that when you first came up?
I don't think I ever really learned the strike zone, Jim. I was not too choosy when I went up to the plate. I swung the bat. I didn't get a lot of walks, but no, it takes you 3 or 4 years to really get the hang of it. But, I mean, it was basically year to year. I mean, in 1963, I probably swung at more high fastballs out of the strike zone than I ever swung at in my life. The next year, I was the MVP in the league, and I didn't swing at the high
everybody
fastball.
Said that was the adjustment that you made.
It was unbelievable. And, you know, we can look down here at Corey Snyder. There's a perfect example of someone you have to adjust from year to year. If you don't, these pitchers find out in a hurry what you're doing and what you're not doing, and they go to work on you.
A ball and a strike to Fisk. Should have learned the strike zone by now. Curveball, a nice one for a strike. And it is 1-2. Corey Snyder is on deck. Carlton Fisk, you keep thinking, is he going to be able to make it through another year at a demanding position? He did last year, hit .285, did his best hitting down the stretch. Now he's 43, and again, you ask the same question, though.
Well, it is amazing. I know he takes great care of himself. He lifts weights. He eats the right food. No smokeless tobacco anymore. I mean, he's got all the good habits now, and he might keep playing. Who knows? He doesn't look like he's in a hurry to do anything, but he just keeps pounding it out every year. And can you imagine, John, I mean, what, 2-3 years ago, here's a guy they were making a left fielder.
Yeah.
And, of course, that experiment didn't work out, and he's back behind the plate.
That will go back out of play. He's played more years now with the White Sox than he did with the Red Sox. And he appeared at a banquet in Manchester, New Hampshire last January. First time he'd ever really gone back, and he's from New Hampshire, but the first time he'd gone back to New England for any kind of a baseball type function in all those years. And he, after all of these years, still had a few invectives that he hurled toward the Red Sox. So he was not happy about leaving there. There's a strike called on the outside, and Ballard gets him looking. And Fisk
Well, he's smart enough not to get thrown out. He knows that ball's about 3 inches outside, and I think he also knows smart enough when he gets behind the plate with his stuff on, his equipment, he's going to lobby for that pitch. That ball's off the corner. He knows it, but he wants that pitch for Jack McDowell when he puts on the equipment.
You're right. He's a little upset because it was a ball even better than that the inning before, and he didn't get the pitch. So he is lobbying for McDowell for the next few innings, and he was right. The ball looked like 2 or 3 inches or 3 inches or so off the plate.
Yeah, the good news, it was outside. The bad news is you got to go to put on your catching equipment. You're out.
Well, now it's a ball, that pitch. Yeah. And Ballard, during that sequence with Fisk, he had a number of pitches out there, and some of them were and some of them weren't.
Well, you got to give credit to Jeff Ballard, too, though, because Melvin is moving out. I mean, you can almost tell, because Ballard's the type of guy, when Bob Melvin moves somewhere, he's got to get the ball in that location to be successful. But he got the ball there. It wasn't like Melvin sitting inside and he had to reach across the plate.
Well, Snyder helped him out there on a 2-0 count, chasing the sinker, 2-1.
John, it's what we get to every year. We have 2 or 3 discussions. When you wear the inside protector, which everyone does down there, it's a guessing game on the outside part of the plate. There's no way the umpire can see that pitch. He has to try to feel where that pitch is out there.
Right to Cal, hit sharply, and he throws out Snyder. And you saw that umpire there. He was way over on the inside, and just as you say, he can't see that outside corner. Well, the inning is over. Ballard has retired 8 straight since the Sosa homer, but that homer has he and the Orioles trailing 3-1 as we go to the last of the 4th. Glenn Davis, Dwight Evans, and Sam Horn coming up.
This Wednesday's Lotto jackpot has an estimated annuity of $6 million for a single winner. It could be you.
What you want, baby, we got it.
You know why I came to Speedy for my muffler? I came for the respect.
And he came for the price.
I came because these guys really know what they're doing.
And for the price.
I came because they guarantee their mufflers for as long as I own my car.
And the price.
Do you know why I came to Speedy? I came for the economic ramification.
He came for the price.
R-E-S-P-E-C-T, that's what Speedy means to me.
If you think it's just the yellow pages, hold on to your seat. It can show you where to get some culture. Or a great seat at the game. Where to find a suitable bargain. Or just get away from it all. But they say it's just the yellow pages. Don't sit still for it. The genuine C&P telephone yellow pages. Nor the book can match it. A Bell Atlantic company.
Channel 2 News is turning these stories now.
Today at 5, batters up. It's the Orioles opening day at Memorial Stadium. Hello, I'm Stan Stovall. Grab your peanuts, your Cracker Jacks. We're taking you out to the ballpark to see the highlights of the day. Today at 5.
Then at 6, from the first pitch to the last out. How has Memorial Stadium changed? I'm Beverly Burke. Join us for a trip back to see how 33rd Street became baseball legend. That's today at 6.
Channel 2 News at 5. Channel 2 News at 6. Friends you can turn to.
There's Memorial Stadium, opening day 1991. We won't see that scene again. Next April, we'll be at the new ballpark at Camden Yards. Now the last of the 4th. Here come the Orioles. They're trailing 3-1. Glenn Davis will lead it off. And by the way, this is the Ronald McDonald House inning. Remember, each run the Orioles score this inning will mean a $100 contribution to the Baltimore Ronald McDonald House, courtesy of the greater Baltimore area McDonald's restaurants and WMAR TV. Strike 1 to Davis, and he didn't seem to be convinced. Davis doubled home a run his first time.
McDowell has impressed me. He's used all these pitches. He's moved fastballs in, fastballs away, the fork ball every now and then. And he is doing just what he did the last half of last year, being very aggressive.
Davis is really upset now.
Yeah, he's got. You got to figure that there's the strike, the plate's 17 inches, and if you put the width of the ball, it's about 22 inches. The plate's going to be about 26 inches this inning because of the fist. Called strike 3.
Well, if I'm McDowell, I've got to go right back out there. I'll tell you that.
Fought that fork ball off. 2 strikes to Davis.
It appears from watching McDowell pitch not only last year but this year is that at 6'5" and very thin, it must be difficult to pick up the ball. You know, I mean, he's got the good fastball, and when he's made mistakes, it's usually with that. But he's got the fork ball, but I don't think they're seeing the ball real well. I don't know if it's the hitting background or whatever, but not a lot of real good authoritative swings today, at least not yet.
2 strikes to Davis. And that will go back out of play, off to the right.
Well, you saw Fisk move inside right at the last second, and he tried to get up and into Davis. Didn't quite get it in far enough, but too close for Davis to take. Glenn Davis last year in Houston hit a little over 200. All the other cities he played in, he hit around 290. So you can see the Astrodome will take away a lot of home runs, especially for a guy of Davis' strength.
And it's a ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Yeah, when you go down to the Astrodome, Deacon Jones, who's a minor league hitting instructor, used to be the batting instructor with Houston, will tell you how bad the hitting background's there. It's black, shiny, crinkly. You have a dark background, but there's a reflection. Tony Gwynn, I mean, one of the outstanding hitters in the National League, says the worst hitting background in the major leagues, especially in the National League.
1-2 the count. Little slider blooped. And Lance Johnson over to grab it. That one just hung up there. I thought it was going to fall in a little bit, but it just kept going. Had a little backspin on it, apparently. 1 away.
Right fielder.
Not too many. He's not able to run.
Yeah,
down.
right. If he didn't have, it wasn't that strong, that ball would have fallen in. That's when doing the martial arts and getting real strong doesn't help you.
Here is Dwight Evans. He struck out his first time. Other ball games going today, by the way, and in Detroit they actually got underway before anybody. The Yankees and the Tigers going at it, and already 3 home runs hit in that ball game. Trammell hit 1 for the Tigers. Moss hit 1, and Blowers hit 1 for the Yankees. Jack Clark has hit a grand slam today for the Red Sox, who have begun their season up in Toronto against the Blue Jays. And Sammy Sosa has hit 1 here, much to the chagrin of the Orioles. 1 strike to Dwight Evans. Longtime teammate of Carlton Fisk. Pops this one up foul, and it will come back out of play. And McDowell once again is in on the count, 0-2.
Yeah, now he can pretty much do what he wants to.
Yeah, I don't think I'd like to be 0-2 against Jack McDowell, knowing that he has a great fork ball.
Well, he struck him out with a fork ball back in the first inning. 1 of 4 strikeouts for McDowell. He has not walked anybody. Into right field, Sammy Sosa with an easy play. 2 men gone.
And another defensive swing.
Yeah, well, a great pitch, you know, 0-2 outside corner, about probably 88, 89 miles per hour. That little zip, very much what Ripken did. He is making real good pitches, and again, he's doing it 0-2. So you got to look for the ball, as you've said many times.
Well, he is going to get the distinction of also opening up in Chicago when they have their opener next week. They go on to Detroit for a couple of games, then back home to Chicago to open that new White Sox park.
The Vice President of the United States told me today, personally, that he would be there for that opener, by the way. Maybe he told you guys the same thing. I don't know.
I didn't hear it, John.
Hey, I get a chance to drop his name, I'm going to drop it. Yeah. You feel like we're close personal friends with him now?
I do, yeah.
So we can say that to people.
Now, Brooks is going to play tennis with him next week on the back lawn of the White House.
Well, you're close personal friends with everybody. I mean, Brooks Robinson, citizen of the world.
See all those guys with IFBs and suits today? I thought, you know, just because Brooks is doing opening day, they're all here. Then I found out that the vice president was.
Well, they're all friends of Brooks, I tell you that.
You came in on the helicopter with him, didn't you, Brooks?
Give me a break, fellas, will you? I'm just here to do a game. This will be the last time I'll see this park till the last day when I'll be here again with you guys.
But I could see the little gleam in the vice president's eyes. Strike 2 to Horn when he got a chance to sit with you, Brooks. He was a little intimidated by Palmer, but he felt very comfortable with you.
Yeah, underwear does that to vice presidents.
1-2 the count. It's good we got Palmer over in that corner, I think, Brooks.
Got him up against the wall.
2 down, nobody on in the 4th. The 1-2 pitch. And Horn fights that one off.
So you have the 2 plane system working. You got the forkball diving, and you got the fastball with a little bit of life and movement. So if you're Sam Horn, who's a low ball hitter, but the only time he's going to probably get a low pitch to hit unless he makes a mistake is when it's a ball. And that's exactly what McDowell wants to happen.
Big shift in the infield for Horn. Guillen playing almost right up the middle for him. Just off the outside. Horn laid off. 2-2 the count.
And the one thing that always amazed me about Carlton Fisk as we watch him receive the ball is how well he moves for a big catcher. You think at about 6'4", 230 pounds, he'd be pretty stationary, but really gives you a lot of movement behind the plate, right to the corner.
2-2 pitch, and that fastball is outside. 3-2. Keeping the ball away from Sam here, ahead of him on the count. 3-2. Craig Worthington on deck, hoping to bat in the inning. We're in the fourth. White Sox 3, Orioles 1. And McDowell's 3-2 pitch. He struck him out. Tough pitch. 5 strikeouts for McDowell. So the Orioles are down here in the inning. They did not score any runs in the Ronald McDonald House inning. However, a contribution of $100 will still be made to the Baltimore Ronald McDonald House, courtesy of WMAR TV and the greater Baltimore area McDonald's restaurants.
The way my day goes, I need a big meal. You just try coaching 40 teenagers on an empty stomach. With these guys, when the going gets tough, we're talking worn out. I need a meal that's gonna put me back on top, but the price has got to be in the right ballpark.
The McDonald's Big Mac meal with large fries and a medium Coke is just $3.29 every day.
Now that's a winning pitch.
Thanks for the memories of seasons filled with fun, scoring the winning run, swinging bats and baseball caps, the times we lost, the times we won. Thanks for the memories.
Make a memory Saturday, April 20th, when all kids 14 and under receive a free Tony the Tiger cereal bowl, compliments of Kellogg's. Then the Orioles take on the Texas Rangers. So call Ticket Center today and be there for a season to remember.
Nissan started a few years ago with cold-rolled steel and a hot idea to build the best. First came the twin-turbo Z, and it was judged the best. Then the Maxim, and it was called the best as well. Now come the 1991 Sentras, and they're called the best. In fact, in the last 2 years, Nissan's new lineup has won more major awards than anyone, 17 in all. Nissan. We started out making cars. We ended up making history.
Orioles Baseball 1991 is being brought to you in part by Coca-Cola Classic and by Midas for all of your under-the-car needs.
That'll we'll give you an update on the Maryland National Bank scoreboard in the American League. In the fourth inning, the Red Sox 5-1 over Toronto. In the fifth inning, Detroit now tied that score 4-4 with the Yankees. In the second inning, Kansas City 2, Cleveland 1. Later tonight, Milwaukee Texans. In the National League 1-1, Houston and Cincinnati in the fourth. And later tonight, Houston-Pittsburgh. Also, Philadelphia Phillies no score with the New York Mets. That game's in the first inning.
And here's the villain of the piece so far as the Orioles are concerned, Sammy Sosa, whose 3-run homer in the second inning has the White Sox leading. Dwight Evans in right field. And Sosa is retired this time. By the way, in that ball game in Detroit on the Maryland National Bank scoreboard, Brooks and Jim, you mentioned 4-4 in the fifth inning. Alan Trammell has not only homered, as we mentioned earlier, but he's driven in all 4 Tigers runs. He just hit a 2-run double in the fifth to tie that game up. Here is Ozzie Guillen, grounded to short his first time. Many people around baseball, you talk to certain managers and coaches, and they were mystified as to why Guillen would win the Gold Glove Award, and not simply because they thought Cal Ripken should get it, but many thought, well, if Cal didn't get it, then Tony Fernandez should have gotten it. He made 8 errors and certainly can do anything that Guillen can do in terms of range and going after a baseball. 1-0 the count, and that's a swing and a miss. But I think one thing that should be said about the whole thing, and it's been said, but we should reaffirm it, is the managers vote on this, and you know how that goes. Somebody comes into the clubhouse, says you got to vote on the Gold Glove, and sometimes they just holler, who do you think should get the Gold Glove? I mean, I don't think they take it very seriously.
Well, that's a possibility too. Sharp hit ball, nice play. Glenn Davis
to Ballard for the putout, and Guillen is retired. Davis got his uniform dirty that time, but with a very fine result.
Yeah, very proud of his fielding. Most people think of in terms of Glenn Davis being only a hitter. He always says, if I get to it, I can catch it. I have good hands. He does there as he robs Guillen of a base hit. I mean, that's the situation where he probably won't run off Ballard, but a definite base hit that's taken away.
Scott Fletcher, the hitter. You know, Davis was not a very good first baseman when he first came up, and he went to winter ball and worked with, he was on a team with Tony Fernandez, whom we were just talking about. He went to Fernandez for some suggestions on what to do to get better. And Fernandez had him throwing a tennis ball against a wall. He says, you know, throw it to your, make it come to your left, make it come to your right, play short hops, play in between hops, and just do it over and over again. And Davis did it all that winter in his spare time, and it was a much better fielder when he came back that season.
Yeah, where I see the difference between a Randy Milligan and Glenn Davis is the throwing part of it. Fielding bunts, maybe trying to get a lead runner. A little bit more mechanical than Randy.
Fletcher to center. Devereaux's got a long run for this one. Really carrying, and he makes the catch on the warning track. And you don't often see Fletcher go that deep. And Devereaux, nonetheless, was able to catch up to it after a long, long run. Ballard, by the way, has now retired 11 in a row here. Nonetheless, after 4.5, Ballard and the Orioles are trailing 3-1. John Miller along with Brooks Robinson, Jim Palmer. Brooks and Jim, Happy New Year. It's the baseball New Year.
Thank you.
Another opening day out here.
Nice to see you over here.
I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, wonderful.
By the way, here's a chance to get the inside story on the 1991 Orioles with the official team media guide. This year's guide is 292 pages, and it's the biggest and most informative in club history. The guide costs $8.50 through the mails, including postage and handling, or $7 plus tax here at the stadium and at the Orioles baseball stores. A must addition to your baseball library. Here is Craig Worthington. We're in the last of the 5th. Worthy grounded a short his first time. 3-1 White Sox. The Orioles had 3 hits against that man, Jack McDowell. That fastball right in there. 1 ball, 1 strike. Worthington and Gomez, at least for now, both on the ball club after excellent springs.
Yeah, I was happy to see that. Gomez had an outstanding spring, and you know, these things have ways of working themselves out, but certainly it looked like having Gomez there this year in the spring really put a little pressure on Worthington. I mean, from everything you read in the papers, much more serious about his job. Not to say that he was lackadaisical last year, but that was really the line on him. People would say, hey, this guy came late and never got it going. And Worthington says the shortened spring training really hurt him last year.
Yeah, a mellow guy if you really want to look at his personality, but this year showed up with the pitchers early. Tommy McCraw said he's doing pretty much with the bat what he did 2 years ago when he had over 300 runners in scoring position, which is using the whole field, being more patient.
He struck him out, and McDowell got him with a fastball, and that is the 6th strikeout for Jack McDowell in 4 1/3 innings.
Now you're looking at a potential 20-game winner here. Last year, you know, had a 6-game winning streak, won 14 games, but he has really come on. And if you look at Raines and Corey Snyder and Frank Thomas' additional offensive capabilities, and if the pitching staff is anywhere near what they were last year, which was 2nd in the American League, if he can get out there enough, he's got a chance to win around 20 ball games.
I think you're also looking at someone, Jim, who was really rushed to the big leagues. I mean, this guy got here in too big a hurry. I mean, in 1987 started Sarasota, Birmingham, and the White Sox. And, you know, I talked to Fagosi, who saw him pitch earlier, and he always felt like that when he started throwing the forkball, that really hurt his velocity. He lost something off his fastball. And, you know, there's always that controversy whether the forkball takes something off your fastball or maybe it doesn't. But that's something that's going to be, I think, burning in a lot of pitchers' minds for a long time. But I'll tell you what, he has got it all together, and he is the leader of this White Sox staff.
Strike 2 to Bob Melvin on the outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Melvin struck out his first time.
Yeah, that pitch right there seems to me to set up Jack McDowell's repertoire. That fastball on the outside, really quarter of the plate. I mean, he can spot the ball away.
They struck him out. 3 consecutive strikeouts for McDowell. Now 7 for the game. He struck out 165 last year in 205 innings.
And Sammy Ellis, the pitching coach, will tell you that he can throw the forkball that just goes down, or he can throw the one that just behind in the count for a strike. So he's got 2 different forkballs. We've seen the curveball and an overpowering fastball he can spot. No wonder he's ahead 3-1.
Well, that last pitch looked like it might have been a forkball, but didn't really go down. It was just an off-speed pitch for him.
It's the second one you're talking about there. Here's Bill Ripken. Grounded a short his first time. The 9th place hitter. Strike 1.
And Jim, what you talked about earlier, you're seeing McDowell do that right now. He says, I'm going to stop nibbling. I'm going to be more aggressive, go right after the hitter, and that's what he's been doing.
And let him bring in Bobby Thigpen, who saved 57 last year. Pretty good formula.
Ball and a strike to Bill Ripken. 3-1 White Sox. 2 down, last of the 5th. Nobody on here.
And both Ballard and McDowell 6-inning stints in spring training as we head into the bottom of the 5th. So how long will they go? Really depends on pitching, the number of pitches. I got to think that Jeff Torborg will allow him to pitch 7 innings, maybe 8 if he doesn't throw a lot of pitches, if he goes that long, and then go to the bullpen.
Well, it's only an 8-inning game for the White Sox. If they're ahead after 8 innings, it's all over. That's what happened last year with Thigpen. So, with the great leadoff man in Raines now, that's what they're planning on doing, trying to get ahead, keep it close, bring in Thigpen, and go home with a win.
1-2 to Bill Ripken. Seems standing well off the plate. That's foul right past his dad, the third base coach. Nice ovation for Cal Sr. during the pregame ceremonies. 35th season in the Orioles organization, and he got almost as good an ovation as anybody.
Well, it was nice. Here's a guy who really got shortchanged when he was managing, and I didn't really think he would come back to coach, but I think he came back for one reason, and that was to take care of young Billy, which he's done. So I'm happy to see him back. Great baseball guy.
Scott Fletcher in front of Sosa takes it. And the Orioles have had just the one base runner since the first inning. That was Milligan on an infield hit in the 3rd. McDowell making it look ridiculously easy here. 3-1 White Sox through 5.
It's time to eat. Subway 6-inch cold cut combo. For $1.69, we can build one for you.
If you have a lot of hungry mouths to feed, there's just one place that can help you feed them all. At Southern States, you'll find an unequal variety of nutritional animal feeds and pet foods for just about every kind of hungry animal on Earth, from the smallest appetites to the most insatiable. So if any other store says they have more food for more animals than Southern States, there's just one thing we have to say. Southern States, for your farm, home, and garden.
Remember when I said I could live with this kitchen?
Yeah?
Well, I can't live with this kitchen.
You can learn to live with almost anything, but why? Our home equity loan has 11 options that make it the smart way to borrow money now. Maryland National Bank. Put the biggest bank to work for you. Call 1-800-222-3222.
Advertising is an important part of our law practice. But without our clients using us again and again, and they're referring friends and family to us, we'd be out of business. We never forget that the best way for us to get new clients is to do a good job for our present ones.
Don't just call a lawyer. Call former Assistant State's Attorney Stephen L. Miles. The number 685-8444.
Let's talk about it.
Designated hitter.
Trying to combine in this 91 Orioles team. And I know that if he could, he'd love to sit with Brooks Robinson and Jim Palmer and talk baseball about the Orioles. But I'm the lucky one that gets to do it. John Miller along with Brooks and Jim, and opening day. But so far it's the Jack McDowell show, guys.
Well, you got to be impressed. Ballard giving up 2 hits, but he's behind 3-1.
One mistake to Sammy Sosa, 3-run shot, and that's the difference, 3-1.
Top of the order, this is Rock Raines, and the curve is high and away. Raines has hit one back to Ballard, and he has also flied to left. There on the right is the Secretary of Defense, who received a huge ovation when he was introduced before the game. Dick Cheney is back in the back of the booth there. You can see John Sununu, the White House Chief of Staff, and also in the foreground, sitting with the Secretary of Defense, the owner of the Orioles, Eli Jacobs, enjoying a ball game today. And had a chance to attend sort of an opening day eve party last night. And the Secretary of Defense was there, Mr. Cheney, and he was looking forward to this ball game today. He's a big ball fan, and he could use a little pastime right now with all of the things they've been going through. But he acquitted himself awfully well, I thought, during that whole Desert Storm operation, and he got the huge ovation from the crowd here today, and he certainly earned it. Glad to have him here with us at the stadium. 2-1 to Raines, and a high pop fly. Bill Ripken wants it. One away. Jeff Ballard has allowed only 3 men to reach base. Unfortunately, they were 3 consecutive White Sox hitters in the second inning. One with a single, one on a Worthington error, and then Sosa hit the ball out of the park. 3 runs for the White Sox with just those 3 base runners.
My question to Brooks is Jeff Ballard reminds me a lot of Scotty McGregor. As a hitter, it looks like they're trying to stay back, but they're out in front. They hit the pop-ups, even though he's supposed to be like Scotty, a sinker baller.
Glenn Davis fields the ball off the bat of Lance Johnson.
What do you try to do against a soft tossing lefty?
Well, I tell you, Ballard to me has not thrown that many fastballs. I mean, it looks like basically I've seen, you know, the year he won, what, 18 games?
2 years ago.
I saw him last year, and I'm seeing him this year, and I really cannot see any difference. He is getting his big breaking ball over a little more, turning ball over, trying to make him. You just got to really go up there and try to hit it up the middle, hit it the other way, because that's basically what he's trying to do, stay away from everyone.
Robin Ventura, the hitter, 2 down, nobody on. Ballard has now retired 13 straight White Sox. Here's ball 1. 1989, when he won the 18, he seemed to be at his very best that year down the stretch. The bigger the games got, the better he got. And he showed some mental toughness, too, down the stretch. Remember the 1-ball game here against Milwaukee? Key game. The Orioles would have fallen out of first place had they lost it. And the Brewers got a couple of men on second and third, nobody out, and he faced Yount and the big sluggers. Got through it aggressively, pitching inside. Seemed to turn him around that year. We were expecting great things from him again last year, but he had the physical problem.
I think where he suffered more than anything last year, anywhere, John, was the fact that he couldn't get the ball where he wanted it. You know, I mean, he was not dotting the corners or making the great pitches. The arm operation left him with a little weaker arm, I guess you could say, and just was not spotting the ball where he has to get it to be successful. So like Tommy John, you know you're going to get a good pitch to hit. Consequently, when you're a hitter, you'll swing at a few balls a little outside because you say to yourself, hey, this guy's going to be around the plate. You know he's not going to strike you out. You're going to get a good pitch to hit, and you do swing at a few bad balls off of soft tossers like Ballard or Tommy John.
1-2 pitch. And Ventura took that one. 2-2.
Yeah, started out 89, 5-0. Last year, 0-5. Of course, when you score 12 runs in your first 7 starts and you're not pitching well, when you don't get that kind of support, you're not going to win a lot of ball games.
That is a base hit. A little bloop following a banana-shaped arc into right field.
If you go back to 89, when he won 18 games and lost 8, they averaged just about 6 runs a game for him. So it makes it easier for him. It makes it easier for Frank Robinson. If we take another look at Ventura, just looks like he hit a changeup, 3-2. But if you're Frank Robinson and you have a guy that just throws a lot of strikes, not overpowering, it's a lot easier to leave him in there over a course of a game if you get him a lot of runs. You don't panic if you're a manager.
Well, this guy could put this game in a very bad way for the Orioles. Frank Thomas, he could do it in a hurry. Big, powerful, right-handed slugger. Ben McDonald knows him well, and he has nothing but the highest praise for this fella. He played against him in college in the Southeast Conference.
He led that conference a couple of years. Player of the year last year in the minor leagues.
And that's inside. 2 balls and no strikes. Now, Thomas himself, last year, they kept him in the minors. They really thought about bringing him up from spring training. He'd had such a great spring, but they didn't want to rush him. They didn't want to do anything that might set him back. And they finally, although he was destroying minor league pitching, they did not bring him up until the 1st of August. And Thomas himself, he knows how good he is. He said, hey, I never could figure what was taking him so long. Well, then he got up there and he made it look ridiculously easy, hitting .330. 2-0. That is a base hit into center field. Ventura will stop at second. 4 hits for the White Sox, and Carlton Fisk is coming up, and Ballard is back in trouble here in the 6th. 3-1 White Sox.
So you get him a lot of runs, and you can be patient here.
Catcher, Carlton.
Gives up 3, and the Orioles only have 1. Most likely, you'll get somebody up in the bullpen now because that's Frank Robinson's job, to keep the game close.
And you are getting some action down there. Might be Kilgus, left-hander, looks like it. Yes, Paul Kilgus.
And Bautista, I think, the right-hander, going to join him out there. Here's Fisk.
What it comes down to, whether you're Carlton Fisk, 2-out situation, and you get the key hit, fly ball won't score a run. They have to come up with 2-out hits. Same thing pitching.
What adjustments has Fisk made from the time you faced him?
Well, he's not as much a pull hitter, even though he is capable of pulling the ball. I always thought he was a great breaking ball. He got his first hit today on a curveball. I just think that he is doesn't think home run as much. Uses the whole field more. Boston, as you said early from the 75 to 81, he was a dead pull hitter. Wanted to jerk the ball off that wall.
And that Fenway swing. Well,
Fisk is very fully capable of reaching that wall too.
He works long hours with Walt Riniak, and there's Bautista on the left, the right-hander, and Kilgus, the left-hander, in the Orioles bullpen. 1-0 to Carlton Fisk. How did Fisk do against you?
Pretty well. Some key home runs.
Up the middle, base hit into center field. Here comes Ventura, and he will score. Devereaux will throw into the cutoff man, Cal Ripken, and it is 4-1.
Well, I think he hit it right on the head, too, Jim. You see that ball, it's out over the plate, and that's what he tried to do. You know, watching him take batting practice today, I was very impressed because the first 5 or 6 balls he hit, that ball on the outside part of the plate, right up the middle, but he hit the ball the other way in batting practice, too. So he realizes, too, that, hey, if I'm going to be successful now, I've got to use this whole field, and that's what he does. When you play in Fenway, you have a little different philosophy as a hitter.
Now, Corey Snyder coming up.
Just a point, Walt Reniak, as Al Jackson and Frank Robinson look on, he said the key, and especially whether it's Corey Snyder or Fisk, is keeping your head on the ball. We always talk about pulling off. He said if you keep your eyes on the ball, you see the ball better, you're able to stay with it. In other words, if Fisk had jerked his left shoulder and his head out of there, he's no possible way that he would have hit that ball well up the middle.
And Riniak working closely with this fella, too. Corey Snyder. That's one of the big reasons they got him.
Yeah, he says this guy's got as good a hands. We're talking hands and wrists. We're talking Aaron, people like that.
Up the middle, Devereaux will have to play it on the bounce. Here comes Thomas around third. It's a bad throw offline. The throw to third. Safe. 5-1 White Sox. Fisk taking third. Devereaux almost looked like he just kind of slipped out of his hand as he made the throw home. Holding it first was Snyder. It is now 5-1 and starting to get out of hand here.
Well, Snyder, as you said, a very live bat, and I tell you, he kills the Orioles. I don't care who is pitching. Corey Snyder gets his base hits against the Orioles. Line drive, there's Devereaux's throw, a little off. Thomas scores the throw to third base, a little too late to get Carlton Fisk. Corey Snyder at first base, and it's 5-1.
You know, talking about how batting coaches try to relate to hitters, I said to Riniak, I said, you know, when Corey Snyder, I said, how's he been? He said, first of all, he led our team in home runs and RBIs in the spring. He said, I said, well, they always said, you know, he's got to lay off the balls above his hand. He said, the one key is your head. Don't look at the ball. You can't hit the ball. You cannot use the whole field if that happens. And this is something that he believes in. And if you can get a hitter to believe into the hitting instructor, you're going to have a very prosperous year.
Well, he's a very controversial batting instructor. I mean, there's a lot of pros and cons, and here comes Al Jackson out to have a talk with Ballard. But as I said, there's a lot of pros and cons. But basically, I think the controversy blazes around Riniak simply because, you know, Charlie Lau really did not approach hitters until they had failed. Riniak approaches hitters even before they have failed to try to tell them what he wants them to do as a hitter. But let's look back at all the batting champions of the last 40 years, and I'll guarantee you every one outside of Ted Williams used the whole field. So you got to use the whole field to be successful.
Well, there is controversy around it, particularly when he was in Boston. A lot of complaining there. People say, hey, Fenway Park, you got to get guys to pull the ball, not hit it up the middle. But the people who sign his checks, they don't seem to complain much. The White Sox are very pleased with him, and Dwight Evans, who hit a lot of home runs, credits the turnaround in his career to Walt Riniak.
Well, I tell you, Himes and Golis, the two general manager and the head scout who got fired, were really not pleased with Riniak. That's one of the reasons that the owner had hired Riniak, but Himes and Golis, Al Golis, said no.
So that's it for Ballard. He leaves trailing 5-1, and J.J. Bautista will get the call from the bullpen. And while he makes his way to the mound, let's pause for these words.
I get high with a little help from my friends.
Stand by for his session-breaking news. Bob Davidson Ford is offering The Plan. Now you can drive a new car or truck every 2 years. Choose an Escort with automatic and air, just $149 a month for only 24 months. A Taurus 4-door, just $215 a month for only 24 months. Even a full-size XLT loaded with extras, just $185 a month. When your friends are changing tires, you can be changing cars with The Plan at Bob Davidson Ford.
You know, people drive into my Meineke shop for a low price, and they get it. But I own this business, and I know the price isn't the only important thing. Service is important. Quality workmanship and attention to detail are important. Top-notch parts are important. In fact, at Meineke Discount Mufflers, nothing is unimportant. That's why the only thing we discount is price. At my shop and all the independently owned Meinekes nationwide, nothing is unimportant.
The real thing, talking about the real thing. Hero, my friend, a smile you wanna see forever. All the moments with Coca-Cola Classic that can't be the real thing. Can't beat the feeling. Can't beat the real thing.
That young Orioles fan may be seeing his first Orioles home opener today with that fella, maybe his brother. They may see a lot of them over at the new ballpark in Camden Yards, but they can't like what they're seeing so far today. The Orioles are trailing 5-1. And Jose Joaquin Bautista, who prefers to be known as JJ, on in relief of Ballard, and a little late maybe for Bautista. 5-1. And those last three right-handed hitters, with the game 3-1 at the time, all three getting base hits, although in fairness to Ballard, they didn't hit the ball awfully hard against him.
No, but what they did, he did made a series of bad pitches, and you know, I think one of the main criticisms, not only from fans and writers and so forth, sometimes broadcasters, some of the players, that Frank occasionally lets the game get out of hand. And early in the year, even though they have played a series of exhibition games, you know, maybe you would want to go to the right-hander a little bit earlier, especially Bautista, who pitched extremely well this spring. Thrown a lot of strikes, which is the key to him. You know, fastball, forkball, occasional breaking ball, but he is the numbers are real good. And ERA right around, I think, under a run per game.
Well, he's adopted the Dave Johnson style of holding runners on. I see that. This is the first time that I've seen him pitch. Got that little leg spread out just a little more and trying to make it more difficult for the runner at first base to get a jump.
Yeah, the theory, really, Dave Johnson uses it, but Dick Bosman is a AAA pitching coach. What he says, when you open the left hip and that knee, you can see the runner better. So therefore, you can identify the lead. So you know when to throw over and when not to.
Good look at the stance there of Sammy Sosa. He hit a 3-run homer back in the second. He flied to right in the fifth. Takes a strike on the inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. I know Bosman telling me about that set position for a pitcher also, because it looks kind of awkward out there. It looks very uncomfortable. But one of the ideas is to be able to get the push off the mound without kicking the leg high in the air. That slide step, you lose that. But it combines the quick delivery to the plate, and there's another base hit. Scoring is Fisk, and Snyder will go to third. 5 consecutive singles by the White Sox, all after 2 were down, and it is now 6-1.
And if you're Walt Reniak, the hitting instructor, you know, Ventura hit his into right field, and then Thomas singled to center, Fisk singled to center, Snyder singled to center, Sosa singled to center. So using all the field, but if you're in a hitting slump, or if you want to talk about perfect hitting, hit the ball back up the middle, and the last 4 hitters have done that.
Now here is Ozzie Guillen. He is grounded to short. He was robbed of a base hit by Glenn Davis back in the 5th.
The guy we're sitting next to is one of the classic guys. 2 outs, the 9th inning, keep the game going, you'd single to center. You could do it with the best of them.
Back to first is Sosa. Now he's the threat to steal a base here, but test Bautista's new stretch position here with this guy.
Well, the theory, you know, when you're talking about that open stance, is that Bosman says what you can do is you can look at the runner, you can quicken your move to home plate, and if you work on it enough, it doesn't hurt your stuff. To me, that's the trick part of the equation. Does it hurt your stuff? You know, in other words, do you sacrifice by going to the plate a little bit quicker, a little bit extra on your fastball, control on your fastball, or whatever? Again, Dick Bosman said it took Dave Johnson about 4 months a couple of years ago to work on this. Ben McDonald used it last year, and he'll tell you it doesn't work for him, at least not yet.
Well, Kurt Schilling, now with Houston, also adopted it, and he said that it's very difficult to maintain the good mechanics with that, because everything's got to be just so difficult to maintain your balance. And there were times last year, Schilling admitted, he said, hey, I shouldn't have used it at times. It didn't work for me. It is 2-0 to Guillen here. 2 down, 2 on, and 3 in for the White Sox. Here's Big Ben. You speak of Ben McDonald. He's supposed to throw off the mound again tomorrow for about 15 minutes, and if all goes well, he might pitch somewhere, probably in the minor leagues, a few days after that.
Yeah, it's not a serious injury. Flexors of the forearm, hurt it in the rain, I think, about 3 weeks ago down in Port Charlotte. It's just difficult to get rid of that injury when you keep throwing. So they backed him off. He took about a week off, and I would assume he'd be ready to pitch in the major league level within 10 days to 2 weeks if everything goes well.
They're hoping he's eligible to come off the disabled list by what, Sunday or Monday, but that's high. Ball 3 to Guillen. They're hoping that if everything is perfect, maybe by the end of next week or the weekend after this one coming.
Yeah, if it was a big game here, Jim, I think McDonald would pitch. That's, you know, I mean, it's not that serious.
Yeah, well, with a 23-year-old phenom who's going to be the foundation of your pitching staff for years to come, you don't take a gamble. No reason to do that.
Snyder at third. There's Sosa at first. Both ready to go in anything with 2 down here, and 3 runs already in. And he misses ball 4. So Guillen with a rare walk. The bases are loaded. And here is Scott Fletcher. That is the very first walk drawn by anybody in this game. And ironically, it's drawn by Guillen, who never draws them.
3-0 slider. Kind of a strange pitch. Tells you maybe they think he's swinging. I mean, he does it anyway. 3-0, 3-1, 3-2. Ozzy's not going to look for the walk.
So he'll start over now with a clean slate against Scott Fletcher, a right-handed hitter who has flied to right center and flied to deep center.
Now, this is a strange game. Sosa comes in and hitting 149 for the spring and hits a 3-run home run to put the White Sox ahead early. Then you got Batista, who gives up a little over half a run, hardly walking anybody, and now he's struggling.
Runners will hold on that one. Melvin knocked it down with the body and kept it in a spot where Snyder did not want to risk it from third base.
Isn't it what they say is Al Jackson will come out to talk to J.J. Batista. Everything changes when the bell rings.
No, you're right. You got a different psyche when you get back here from spring training and you've had a poor spring. The thing you say to yourself, hey, man, everything's a race. Let's get started. Cooler weather, not necessarily today, but the cooler weather gives you a little pickup, and you do. You feel a lot better. And I know what Al Jackson is saying is, hey, you got to challenge this guy. I mean, he hit 220 or 230 last year. Same way with Guillen. I mean, you can't be walking these type of guys. You got to challenge them.
You got to make them swing the bat. And of course, how many times did they use Batista like Frank Robinson is using him today? You know, I would assume as we look at his numbers, he pitched 13 innings. He probably started. In other words, didn't come in relief. So a lot of times in spring training, you have a great spring, but you're not used exactly the same way you're going to be used when the season starts. Not in the middle of an inning.
And as if you didn't already know, you're watching Orioles baseball on WMAR Oriole Network.
WMAR TV in Baltimore. Friends you can turn to.
Well, they got strike there. 1 ball, 1 strike to Fletcher. On the Maryland National Bank out-of-town scoreboard, Tigers and Yanks are still 4-4 in the 7th at Tiger Stadium. Boston 5-1 over Toronto in the top of the 7th. Clemens and Steve, and Jack Clark hit a grand slam in that one. 1-1 pitch. That will go back out of play in amongst the spectators. And it is 1-2. And Kansas City's ahead of Cleveland 3-2 in the 5th. And Albert Bell, who hit 11 home runs during the spring. Remember, he used to call him Joey Bell.
Yeah.
He went into alcohol rehabilitation and came out with a new outlook and wanted to be called Albert.
Now it's Mr. Bell.
Don't tell me he's got another home run today.
He just hit one.
Did he really?
So 11 in the spring and 1 today. A ball and 2 strikes to Scott Fletcher, the 9th man to bat in the inning. Bases loaded. The pitch. The split finger is low. Ball 2.
I want to say happy 5th anniversary to Kevin and Polly Siglate. S-I-G-H-L-A-T-E, I believe, and also 80th birthday. Happy birthday to Frank Bryan over on Winbrook Road here in Baltimore. Enjoying the game today.
Well, they might have been enjoying it.
They're enjoying it.
2-2 the count. In the right center field, hit pretty well. Long run for Devereaux. It's over his head, and that may have saved a run, at least for now. An automatic 2 bases. Guillen crossing the plate will have to go back to third. A 2-run double for Fletcher. 5 runs in the inning, and it is now 8-1 White Sox.
2 times in a row we've seen Fletcher drive the ball. Last time Devereaux making an over-the-shoulder catch in center field. Brooks, I mean, the wind is not blowing. That ball really carried.
Well, it is carrying, and here comes Al Jackson. He's not going to see it carrying anymore. You'll see Fletcher, good swing, a high fastball out over the plate. It's just up the gap in the middle. Devereaux can't get there. 1 hop over the fence, 2 runs in, second and third, 8-1 the White Sox lead.
Scott Fletcher has made this a 5-run inning now. 8-1 White Sox. Let's pause for these words.
Seem to make a good beginning. Someone else ends up winning. Don't seem fair.
Anybody can say they're the best. Anybody can promise quality or great service. But when you invest hard-earned money in a business, you're not just anybody. I own my Meineke shop. I have to have satisfied customers. So do hundreds of other Meineke owners, coast to coast. Need a new muffler? Brake work? Come into Meineke. Nothing is unimportant here, especially delivering on what we promise you. At Meineke Discount Mufflers, nothing is unimportant.
When you're reaching for the refreshing, one-of-a-kind taste that's out of this world, you can't beat the real thing.
Stand by for recession-breaking news. Bob Davidson Ford is offering The Plan. Now you can drive a new car or truck every 2 years. Choose an Escort with automatic and air, just $149 a month for only 24 months. A Taurus 4-door, just $215 a month for only 24 months. Even a full-size XLT loaded with extras, just $185 a month. When your friends are changing tires, you can be changing cars with The Plan at Bob Davidson Ford.
Not the way that J.J. Bautista wanted to get this season started. He faced 3 hitters. They all reached base against him. The score was 5-1 when he entered and 8-1 when he left. A little frustrated there. Paul Kilgus takes the mound.
Did not make very many good pitches. Paul Kilgus made the ball club mainly because of what they did with Bob Malecki, sending him to Double-A to get some more seasoning. A lot of people felt that Paul would go down and pitch at the Triple-A level. Last year, spent most of the year at Syracuse. Pitched very well a couple of years ago before he was traded from the Texas Rangers to the Chicago Cubs. And Roland Heeman has a record, or at least a past history, of going out and getting guys that have performed well against the Orioles. And Kilgus got to use them all. Change-up, fastball, a little bit of a curveball. 23 runners in only 11 2/3 innings in spring training, even though he has an ERA of just a little over 2.
20 and 32 lifetime in the major leagues. Just has to be letter perfect almost. Tries to stay away with his fastball.
He was part of the trade that sent Rafael Palmeiro to Texas and Mitch Williams over to the Cubs. And when he was with Texas, the 1 year early on, he won quite a few ball games, including a couple of very fine ones against the Orioles, but has not been able to duplicate that. There's a swinging strike 2.
I think what Brooks said is very appropriate. He's got to be perfect, and I think that it's a lot easier to do that as a starter than out of the bullpen. So he's an unknown quantity. I mean, great work ethics, nice young man, but is his stuff good enough to relieve? It's good enough to start because then you get in that regular rhythm. But as a bullpenner, you really never know when you're going to pitch. It's hard to keep your control as sharp as you'd like.
Rock Raines started this inning with a pop up to second. That's outside for a ball. And in fact, the next batter, Lance Johnson, grounded out. There were 2 down, and there was nobody on base. But since then, the White Sox have had 7 straight hitters reach base, 6 hits and a walk. At third out is awfully elusive. Runners at second and third. Right back to Kilgus. And look out on that throw there, but he gets range. It was now 0 for 4. And at long last, the inning ends 5 runs, 6 hits, and 2 men left on. And the Orioles are way behind now, 8-1. We go to the last of the 6th.
Cynthia Kurlick's No Workout Workout.
Hi, I'm fitness expert Cynthia Kurlick telling you to drink your milk and do this simple exercise. You'll need this and one of these. If you drink milk, something as simple as walking the dog can be a great workout. So get some exercise and drink your milk. It gives you more energy, stronger bones, and even improves your coat. I mean skin.
Milk. It does a body good.
Hello? Hello, Miss Betty Johnson. You just want a color TV set. Oh, my. And all I need is your credit card number to, verify your records, of course. Well, I doubt if I'm your winner. I've never won anything but But what? Well, since I have your number on my, caller ID, maybe I'll have you checked out. You just saved me the trouble.
Order Bell Atlantic caller ID now, and the service connection is free. Only monthly charges apply.
Warning, cold starts can be tough on your car's engine. Fact, whether it's 35 below zero or 50 above, Quaker State 10W30 gets to all your engine parts faster than other leading 10W30s. Quaker State, it's one tough motor oil.
A real country evening with dancing, dining, and bidding on hundreds of auction items is in store for all at the Children's Guild's EIEIO, Saturday, April 20th at 7:30 p.m. at St. Timothy's School in Stevenson. For tickets, call 444-3800.
Orioles Baseball 1991 is being brought to you in part by Meineke Discount Mufflers. At Meineke, nothing is unimportant.
It's 8-1 White Sox, so we go to the last of the 6th inning. The Orioles will have the top of the order coming up. Wave if you're fans of Orioles baseball on Channel 2, we told them. Obviously they are. Say fans, be a part of Memorial Stadium's final season, a season to remember. Individual game tickets for games except the final weekend are on sale right now by the phone or in person here at the Memorial Stadium box office at all Ticketron outlets, the Orioles baseball stores. Phone charge, the number in Baltimore is 481-6000. 481-6000. In Washington, 432-0200. 432-0200. And you might want to give them a call right now. Operators are standing by, and order some seats for the Wednesday night ball game, game 2 of this series. Jose Mesa will take the mound against the White Sox lefty, Greg Hibbard. Here is Mike Devereaux, 0 for 2. Strike 1. And Jack McDowell has been relentless in his ability to put the ball where he wants it, and he has the Orioles right where he wants them. He's got a 7-run lead now as well. They have had just 1 base runner since the first inning. Strike 2 on the outside.
Yeah, 7-run lead. Perfect time to work on what you talked about, Brooks, being aggressive. Go out there. Really don't change your game plan, but 7 runs ahead, you don't have to worry about one swing beating you.
Down the right field line, that's going to be in there, base hit, and it looks like extra bases. Sosa chases it, and Devereaux speeding into second, and he'll pull up there with a stand-up double.
Well, that time, I think Jack McDowell probably outsmarted himself. He went to the well once too often. The first 2 pitches, fastballs right out there. This time, back with the same pitch. Devereaux knows he's got to swing at that one, and he does, and drills it down the right field line. He's in the second base with a double.
Now here is Randy Milligan. As Devereaux gets his first hit of the year, he's 1 for 3. Milligan is 1 for 2. He's flying to shallow right, and then he got an infield hit, almost an out, as third baseman Ventura turned in a beautiful attempt, robbed him of extra bases, that's for sure. Strike 1 to Randy. The Orioles have only 4 hits. Devereaux's here, Milligan's in the third. Cal Ripken a first inning single, and Glenn Davis a first inning double. There's Cal on deck. 8-1 White Sox in the 6th. And he's late on that fastball. 2 strikes. Milligan did not get a chance to go out to left field on Friday. They had a workout schedule here, and one of the things they were hoping to do is get him a chance to get a feel for how that wall plays in left field, but that workout got rained out. Frank Robinson says, well, it's just going to be trial and error out there for him then. 2-strike pitch. Off the hands, foul.
Well, Randy's not going to have any problem catching a ball out there. I think his problem is going to come in getting a jump on the ball, knowing which way to go, back, forward, you know, that's the problems that he's going to encounter out there. But he's got to play. I mean, he makes us so much better club offensively when he's in the lineup. Might hurt us a little defensively, but you know, he's someone who's going to work at it out there and going to get better.
2 strikes. Guillen will hold Devereaux at second as he throws out Milligan. And there is one away here in the 6th.
If you look at the Oriole outfield over the last couple of years, if there was a weak spot, it was Phil Bradley, only because of his conservative nature to playing left field. Played very deep, circled the ball, took a conservative approach, where Finley and Anderson and Orsolak and Devereaux are a little bit more daredevil type.
By the way, Bradley was traded to the White Sox last year, and now White Sox were not interested in retaining him, and he ended up signing with the Tokyo Giants. And I saw on the paper he hit a home run for them in their opener the other day, although they lost 6-5. Here's Cal. He has hit a single, and he's flying to right and scored the Orioles' only run of the day. Runner at second, one out in the 6th. And the forkball, strike one, 0-1. Bradley, an important member of that club in '89, veteran influence. But last year just was always not well with him physically or any other way. Did not hit the ball well. We wish him well in Japan. Good man. Jim Traver's back over there now.
Yeah.
Had a fine year there a year ago. Off the hands, foul, and it is 2 strikes to Cal. He hit that one off his foot. He's acting like it. Cal Ripken, when he was just starting, a young guy, he got an offer to go play in Japan. Now you see it hit off the foot. And they offered him a ton of money to go over there. He wasn't in the big leagues yet. But for Cal, the whole point of the deal was he wanted to play for the Orioles, not just in the big leagues, but for the Orioles. He'd like to do what you did, Brooks. He'd like to threaten your record for longevity with the Orioles. 2 strikes to Cal.
Well, he's on his way. Although he's got a way to go, John.
This would be his, what, just another 18 years, I think. This is his 10th home opener as an Oriole.
Well, I tell you what, I'm happy I stayed here. That, needless to say, after the '76 season, well, we'll talk about it in a few minutes. Not much else happening in this game.
2-strike pitch. Ooh, a close one. And it is 1-2. Go ahead, let's talk about it now.
Well, I was going to say, after the '76 season, you know, basically the Orioles said, get lost, you know, go make your own deal. We've had enough of you here. You're not going to play next year. The sensei's going to be the 3rd baseman. So I talked to Toronto and Seattle and could have worked it out for a year to go there, but it didn't make much sense. So I came back here as a player coach and played just a little and knew my career was over. So I did the right thing.
Pass Fisk, and Devereaux will go to 3rd. Wild pitch. The slider got away from McDowell there.
Yeah, that or a forkball. Yeah. Fisk, who is, again, very conservative, tried to not backhand it, which a lot of catchers get in a bad habit. Watch him try to get out there in front of it, but the ball just moves. Watch it sail. And then right off the end of the glove for a wild pitch, or possibly a pass ball. Did they score it as a wild pitch?
They did.
But to finish that story, John, what I wanted to say is Carl Yastrzemski and myself played longer for one team than anyone else in the history of the game. 23 years. I played part of or all of 23 years. Yastrzemski played 23 full years. We passed Stan Musial in that department.
Cal strikes out swinging.
Just in case you didn't know.
Well, I looked it up. I happen to know that, but I'm glad you mentioned it.
Okay.
So Cal, let's see, this is his 10th, the start of his 10th full season. So he's got be the next century if he's going to threaten you there.
Well, I hope he does. I wish all good things to him. I'm not a nicer guy around.
Yeah, may not miss a game by then either.
Hey, you're right.
That would really be something. I'd like to see this guy around till the next century hitting home runs here. Glenn Davis, he's hit a double to drive in a run today, and he's flying to right center. Two down, runner at third. Into center, but waiting for it is Johnson. And so it goes for the Orioles on this day. One hit, one left. 4 hits. They've stranded 3, and after 6, they are way behind. White Sox 8, the Orioles 1.
It's an ancient art, practiced today much as it was long ago. Nature's grains, pure water, a small, flavorful flour, artfully blended to create one simple, special product. It's older than the written word, as basic as bread. And for 80 million responsible Americans, it means refreshment, friendship, and life celebrated. It's beer, a good part of the good life. A message from Budweiser.
It's Cutlass Choice Days at your Gallant Men of Olds, and they've got major league deals on some of America's most popular cars. Make your best deal in Olds Cutlass Sierra sedan with air, rear defogger, tilt wheel, and more, and we'll give you $1,600 cash back. Make a great deal on Cutlass Supreme with air, defogger, and sport appearance package, and get $2,100 cash back. Play ball! Take the field with a Gallant Men of Olds. These major league savings end soon.
Channel 2 News is turning these stories now.
Today at 5, batters up. It's the Orioles opening day at Memorial Stadium. Hello, I'm Stan Stovall. Grab your peanuts, your Cracker Jacks. We're taking you out to the ballpark to see the highlights of the day. Today at 5.
Then at 6, from the first pitch to the last out. How has Memorial Stadium changed? I'm Beverly Burke. Join us for a trip back to see how 33rd Street became baseball legend. That's today at 6.
Channel 2 News at 5. Channel 2 News at 6. Friends you can turn to.
Student athletes reaching goals both on and off the field. Watch Pizza Hut Prep Profile for inspiring stories about kids we can be proud of. Thursdays at 5 on Channel 2.
Strike one to Lance Johnson, the left-handed hitting center fielder for the White Sox, leading it off in the 7th against Paul Kilgus. And the curve misses, ball 1. It is 8-1, the White Sox ahead. This is John Miller, along with Brooks Robinson and Jim Palmer. From the stadium, the 1-1 delivery. Into center, Devereaux gets it. 1 away. We got a trivia question here. Dwight Evans of the Orioles is playing in his 17th opening day game. He has hit 5 opening day home runs. Now, in the USA Today, it mentioned Frank Robinson as having hit 8 opening day home runs. One more than Babe Ruth and Willie Mays. So what's our question?
I think someone made a mistake.
All right, how about this? Cal, long throw, in time to get Ventura. Nice play. Ventura is the second out of the inning. How about this? How many opening day home runs hit by Carl Yastrzemski and Brooks Robinson, the two fellows who played for their teams longer than any others?
How many?
Did we already mention you on this one?
Yeah, we did.
Well, Brooks mentioned himself, of course. How many was that? Baker's dozen? No, 5?
5.
5.
I was just guessing. I didn't realize I had 5.
You ever hit 2 in one game?
You were guessing?
I was guessing.
You don't remember all 5 of them?
No.
When did he? I know. I mean, when did he hit 2?
I hit 2 against Milwaukee.
In Milwaukee?
No, here.
Frank Thomas, the hitter, 1 for 3. 2 down, nobody on in the 7th.
Of course, you being a starting pitcher, you were probably up in the clubhouse having
undoubtedly
a soda or something.
But you hit 6, right?
Yeah, no, I hit 5.
Well, here it says 6.
Does it? Maybe I hit 6.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He remembers each one of them well, John.
Let's go with 6, Brooks. Dwight Evans grabs that one. We're not giving away a prize in this thing, are we? So anyway, hope you enjoyed the trivia question. We go to the last of the 7th inning. Evans will be leading it off. Orioles down 8-1.
Hey, what happened to your gray hair? You noticed, huh? Well, I did it too, but I worried about it looking phony. Does mine look phony? It looks natural. How'd you do it? Clairol Option. Clairol Option? Clairol Option for men. Clairol knows natural-looking color, and there's no pouring and mixing. My hair even feels thicker. So how long is it going to take me to look like your twin again? Just 5 minutes. That easy.
Clairol Option for men.
You were right. You know something? If you're going to do it right.
This is Hardee's quarter-pound cheeseburger. Its dimensions about 64.65 millimeters bun to bun. The patty 12.65 millimeters of 100% thick, juicy beef. And for a limited time only, is just 99 cents. Now, we believe there isn't a cheeseburger this thick and this high for this low in the business. So recently, we offered all the other fast food restaurant chains half the screen to compare their cheeseburgers to ours. But no film arrived. Obviously, they're afraid of height. Hardee's quarter-pound cheeseburger. It's very high, at a very low price, only Hardee's.
Being cool, you'll find every state of mind. Gotta keep it cool when things get hot. Cool is all you got. Keeping it cool with keeping it cool with keeping it cool with
Reduce the risk of head injury the next time your child plays ball. Learn about a softer type of hardball. Following the game on Channel 2 News.
Hey, who is that professional announcer we just heard from there? Who hired that guy? That was very good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is this the first time you've ever done a game?
Yeah. It's the first time we have done a game. Might be the last.
No.
John Miller, nice to meet you.
The last day of the season, Brooks.
right fielder, White.
Well, boy, will that be a nostalgic day.
You mean the three of us again the last day?
I hear there's rumors to that effect, John.
Wow. Here's Dwight Evans. Little dribbler. Ventura. Bare hand pickup. And he got him. Brooks, assess that play for you. Or for us, will you? I mean, what did you think of that play?
That was
Well
absolutely fantastic, yes. You're coming in on a ball like that as a third baseman. The thing you tell yourself, John, is the ball has stopped or coming to a stop. You barehand it. Here you'll see a swinging bunt, the toughest play for a third baseman. Ventura gets a nice jump. You'll see him field the ball. Left foot forward. Next step throw. Good play by the first baseman. Could not have done it any better.
Now, what was the story I heard? Robin Roberts, Hall of Famer, when he was with the Orioles, there was a ball hit off the third base side of the mound similar to that. Remember this story?
I remember the story, but I don't remember saying what he said I said.
Which was, well, what, he got in your way?
Yeah.
Now, did you pick it up and still throw the guy out?
Correct.
And according to Robin Roberts, that one will go back out of play off the bat of Sam Horn. 1-1 the count. Ventura gave chase. He said, you called him off the ball. He got out of your way. You made the play just like we saw Ventura make the play here. And as you passed by him after making the play, you sort of said to him something to the effect of, next time, get out of the way there, Robin. I usually make that play pretty well.
Okay.
But you say you did something like let the shore guy make that play. That was your vernacular back then.
I said, hey, old fella, move out of the way and let the young guy have it.
1-2 to Sam Horn, who has struck out twice in this game. McDowell has 8 strikeouts all told, and he leads the game 8-1. Opening day, 1991. 1 out and nobody on. We're in the 7th. Jack McDowell has been spoiling this party for the Orioles and their fans. 2-2. By the way, Howard Johnson of the Mets playing in the home opener up in Shea Stadium for them today. But a note in the paper today. Saturday night, he had to go to the hospital and missed the workout yesterday. Horn hits it foul. 2-2. While eating dinner at home Saturday, he got a piece of steak caught in his throat. And he tried unsuccessfully for 2 hours to remove the meat, and he finally went to a hospital. He was given medication to soften the area. And finally, yesterday morning, a procedure was performed by a gastroenterologist, and they finally removed the meat the next morning. His teammates had a lot of sympathy for him at the ballpark. And they saw John Franco, reliever of the Mets. Franco said to him, just because Viola didn't sign a contract, don't get all choked up by it. Well, Sam Horn draws the walk there. First walk allowed by McDowell after 8 strikeouts. With 1 out, the batter will be Craig Worthington. Glad to hear Johnson's all right, though. Could have been
oh, listen, you hear about that all the time.
There's your helicopter, Brooks.
I guess you're not getting a ride home with the vice president, Brooks.
Looks like he's going right out to the Towson area, though.
That's the last outbound helicopter of the afternoon, Brooks.
Less traffic that way, too, going towards Towson. Then you make a left and head towards Washington.
Here's Worthington. He has grounded a short and struck out. 0 for 2. 8-1. I guess the worst ever home opener was in '88. What was the score that day? 12-0?
I lost interest, but yeah, something like that. Boddicker started.
Milwaukee was here. They had double steals. They did everything that day. Foul tipped it. Did Worthington. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1 out, 1 on in the 7th. Ron Karkovice, by the way, you see there, the new catcher for the White Sox, replacing Carlton Fisk. What's wrong with Fisk? He can't go 9?
That's it.
Fisk only caught, what, a handful of games in the spring. Didn't catch any at all till about, 10 days ago, after having the surgery on his knees this winter. Just outside for a ball. 3-1 to Worthington. So there, I know Torborg was saying during the spring that he wanted to try and preserve Fisk's strength as much as he could. Karkovice could be seeing even that much more activity this year. Day games after night games, and he was always going to catch Charlie Huff once Huff gets back off the DL. That's a pop-up. Ozzie Guillen says, "Yo lo tengo," and indeed he does. 2 down.
Well, that was the original idea by Hawk Harrelson to put Fisk in left field. They respected what he could do offensively so much, they figured he could play more in left field than he could catching. And, of course, the one thing they forgot to ask was, Carlton, do you want to play left field? He thought it was actually an affront to the fact that he couldn't play and catch well at this age.
Well, and Karkovice was the guy. They thought he was ready to take over back at the plate. Bob Melvin with a swinging strike 1. Melvin has struck out twice, 0 for 2.
I think what I've seen McDowell do a few times today, he did it to Worthington the last pitch there. 2-0, you figure he's going to give his best fastball, takes a little off of it, like as Flanny used to call it, Flanagan, a batting practice fastball, and Worthington out in front of just a little and popped it straight up.
2 strikes. Got a fork ball, that last one. Looked pretty tough.
McDowell's getting a lot of swing and misses today.
You know what that tells you? Good movement.
Yes.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Melvin.
Yeah, again, seeing the ball, it's so important. I mean, if you're a batting instructor, that's what you want the hitter to do. But if you can hide the ball, and if you watch him, watch his left shoulder, watch the way he tucks it, just a little bit more difficult for the hitter to pick up the ball, especially when it's on the corner. That's strike 3 if you got a good ump. No offense, Mr. Evans, because you're doing a nice job, but he knows that's a strike. And you'd probably be a little irritated if it wasn't 8-1. But you want that pitch because you just made a great pitch.
He had McDowell talking to himself.
2-2 the count to Melvin. And there's strike 3. And that is number 9 for McDowell. Seems like more. We've completed 7 full innings. 8-1 White Sox. Jack McDowell all smiles right now.
This is a Heckinger? It's great. It's new, no? The prices.
This week, pay just $8.99 for Scott's Turf Builder. Turf Builder Plus 2, just $11.99. And if you're working with wood, treat it right. Save now on all Minwax products. Minwax wood stain is just $4.44 a quart.
Great prices. I'm impressed.
Price is good at all Baltimore Heckingers.
It's got it all.
Hey, what's going on?
Ah, did you see that?
Yeah, it looks delicious.
Looks homemade.
Ooh, veal parmesan. Yes, I'm hungry.
Oh, Salisbury steak.
Very hungry.
With macaroni and cheese.
This has got to be Stouffer's.
Definitely Stouffer's.
Definitely.
Look at that turkey and gravy.
And stuffing.
It's making me crazy.
Not to mention hungry.
Yeah, but the calories.
Relax. Stouffer's made all your home-style favorites under 370 calories.
Ooh.
Don't you just love it?
Jeopardy. Any questions?
Tonight at 7:30.
The Holocaust Day of Remembrance observance on April 14th at the Holocaust Memorial, Lombard and Gay Streets, is open to the entire community. For information, telephone 235-9006.
Well, if you just joined us, we're at the stadium here, and the White Sox are out front 8-1 over the Orioles. This has not been what we were hoping for in this final home opener. 1991 opener. The first one was 1954. The Orioles won that one 3-1. But so far, for Cal Ripken and the rest of the Orioles, this has been one to forget. Paul Kilgus, the third Orioles pitcher, facing Ron Karkovice, who curves him for ball one. 8-1 White Sox.
John, you were there a lot of the spring. I mean, I was only there the first 3 weeks, but the schedule they had. Now, everybody downplayed that. Not a lot of home games. Getting home on Thursday night at 3 o'clock in the morning, probably getting to sleep around 4:30, 10:45 workout, 8:45 buses the last 2 days. I'm not sure the Orioles really know this is opening day, other than the fact that 50,000 people showed up. I mean, it's been a real tough schedule, and I think it's going to take a while till everything calms down. It was a pretty tough spring.
3-0 to Karkovice. There's a strike. I think if they knew then, when they decided to do the spring the way they did it, what they know now, they would never have done it, because I think it sounded a little easier on the drawing board than it turned out to be. That's a base hit for Karkovice into left field. So Fisk had 2 hits while he was in there, and Karkovice now has 1. White Sox have 9 hits all told, 8 of them singles. But the 1 extra base hit was good for 3 runs.
Corey Snyder.
Bullpen activity for the Orioles. Another left-hander's up out there. That must be old number 46. Mike Flanagan up in the bullpen for the Orioles, along with the right-hander Jeff Robinson. There they are. There's Flanny. And Jeff Robinson alongside. There's ball one to Snyder. The rotation, right? They have 9 pitchers. They brought North with them. And they've got Mesa set to go Wednesday, Dave Johnson Friday. Only got the 3 games in these first 5 days. And the 4th starter would be Jeff Robinson over the weekend in Texas. Called strike, and it's 1-1 to Corey Snyder.
Little update, John, on the Maryland National scoreboard. In the 7th inning, Boston still 5-1 over Toronto. In the 8th, Detroit scored 2 more. They're up 6-4 over the Yankees. 4-2 Kansas City over Cleveland in the 6th. And that's all the action right now in the American League. In the National League, Cincinnati 6-1 over Houston. The Mets 2-1 over the Phillies. That's in the 5th. That Houston-Cincinnati game's in the 6th inning.
Thank you, Brooks.
You're welcome.
Ball and a strike. This should be 2. Kilgus to Bill. There's 1 and 2. A double play. High throw by Kilgus, but Bill brought it in and made it look easy.
Yeah, took 1 look to see where the base was and completed the double play. It's interesting when you throw out that 6-1 Cincinnati score. Here's the defending world champs. If you another take a look, it's a routine double play, mainly because of Billy's agility at second base. A lot of people, you know, they got Strawberry and the group in Dodger Town out in Los Angeles, and then you got the fact that Willie McGee signed up in San Francisco, but Cincinnati overlooked. I mean, they lost Danny Jackson, and they may be just as good as they were last year.
Well, I know they've got the great balance still. I was talking to this the other day with Joe Morgan, also Hall of Famer, and he feels that Cincinnati gets overlooked by some because when you look at the Dodgers, you look at Strawberry, Murray, Daniels, big sluggers in the middle of that batting order, very productive all. The Giants, Will Clark, Kevin Mitchell, Matt Williams, big sluggers. The Reds don't have a threesome whose numbers jump out at you like that, but they've got a good balance all the way through. 1-1 to Sammy Sosa, who has driven in 4 runs today with a 3-run homer and a run-scoring single. 2 for 3. He hit only .233 last year. They think he's going to do a lot better than that. And he may not be a platoon player much longer the way he started here today.
Well, he has some tools. He was an outstanding prospect with the Texas Rangers and came over in a trade. But
yeah, key player in that trade.
Yeah.
For Harold Baines.
150 strikeouts. Cut down on that a little. That'll improve the average.
3-1 the count. There's a high drive deep down the left field line, and forget all about this one. Way up there. His second home run of the day, his 5th RBI of the day, and the White Sox with yet another run, 9 of them now, 5 of them courtesy of that man, Sammy Sosa. A tour de force by Sosa here today.
Well, big swing. Kilgus gets behind him 3-1 and comes right in there, and he drills it. Here you'll see a 3-1 pitch, and that's as good a swing as you're going to have, and that's as far as you're going to see a ball hit. Way back in the left field stands. 9-1. 10 hits for the White Sox.
That is the way you're supposed to attack a 3-1 fastball, especially when you get that type of pitch to swing at.
Carlton Fisk there in the foreground saying, that's the way I hit him in Fenway years ago. But I was just a young guy. Melvin throws out Ozzie Guillen, and the inning is over. Guillen now 0 for 3. The White Sox get another run, courtesy of Sammy Sosa. And we go to the last of the 8th inning now. White Sox 9, the Orioles 1.
Right now at your participating Midas dealer, buy any Midas shock or strut until April 27th and get the second one for 50% off. That's right, 50% off installed.
How to get to Europe from Baltimore? Head south to Busch Gardens. Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. It's all the fun of Europe. Only closer.
In my considered opinion, it's okay to enjoy mowing one's lawn. Oh, for heaven's sake. In fact, my snapper significantly enhances my sense of well-being. Of course, my snapper dealer was kind enough to offer a 14-day money-back test drive. The good man really stands behind his machines. So if you're looking for emotional satisfaction, my advice to you is seek professional help. That's right. See your snapper dealer. Anything less just won't cut it.
Some people will go to great lengths to put their photos together in a little album. You know, something you can carry in your pocket. Or give as a gift. But they haven't heard about Giant's little photo album. You see, now when you get your film developed at Giant, your photos automatically come in a handy little album and at no extra charge. So next time, bring your film to Giant and let us put together a little photo album. Ouch! Just for you.
There's the wide view of the stadium and the overview of the game. Glenn Davis with an RBI in the first for the Orioles with a double, but all White Sox since. Mostly Sammy Sosa, 3-run second inning homer. Then a 5-run 6th inning 2-out rally for the White Sox to really bust the game wide open. And then finally Sosa, yet another home run in the 8th inning. That's where we are now, 9-1 White Sox. Actually, it would be like Sosa 5, the White Sox 4, and the Orioles 1 here. Here's Bill Ripken, who has grounded a short and popped a second. Swinging strike, and McDowell is dazzling him now. 0-2.
Yeah, he's using everything he has right now. Fastball, big curve that time, forkball.
You have any bad memories of opening day, Brooks?
Oh, sure.
What was the worst one, you remember?
Probably 0 for 4 or 5 with a couple strikeouts.
Strike 3 call.
And Billy doesn't like it. Thinks the ball was outside. I was just going to say one of the reasons that Billy's average improved last year, that he found out that he had to put the ball in play. He cut down on his strikeouts a lot. Here's that last pitch. You can take a look for yourself. You get the right angle here. A little hard to tell, but anyway, you'll see the umpire. He's drawing back there to say strike 3.
Oh, man. Shoot.
Looked like a pretty good pitch. Again, deception.
Well, that's because you're a pitcher.
No. And the reason, I mean, what I'm saying, well, I just got to see the replay. Whether I was a pitcher or not, I'd have to say if it's over the plate, it should be called a strike. Now, I'm not biased at all about that, John, and I'll be the first to say that. No.
Great call there. 2 strikes to Devereaux. He has flied to center, struck out, and doubled. 1 for 3. 9-1 White Sox, last of the 8th inning. Well, this opening day, the sun's coming out now. been a bright, beautiful day most of the time. Great crowd, 50,213. That's fouled back out of play. 2 strikes to Devereaux. And the new Oriole, Glenn Davis, with a double in the first, got everybody cheering. All White Sox since then. And Tom Boswell of the Washington Post today. Well, that's what we'll be doing soon, I think. This game has put that guy to sleep. Right to Ventura at third, out number 2. Boswell in the Washington Post today had a column, and he said it's possible, though hardly provable, that no Major League season ever has begun with so many of the game's best players in new uniforms since last year. Davis and Evans are a couple of guys here, and big names. And he listed some of them, guys like Darryl Strawberry, George Bell, Joe Carter, Jack Clark, Vince Coleman, Tim Raines here with the White Sox, Kirk Gibson, Willie McGee, Brett Butler. I mean, that's some pretty significant movement this offseason. Well, there's Milligan, first ball swinging again, and he is retired, and so are the Orioles. Milligan now 1 for 4. No matter which pitch they swing at, it's not the right one from Jack McDowell. He has dominated the Orioles today. 9-1 Shy Sox after 8.
Thanks for the memories of home runs in the stands, screaming loyal fans, double plays on summer days, and the best team in the land. Thanks for the memories.
Make a memory Sunday, April 21st at 1 o'clock as the Orioles' all-time greatest players come back to play their biggest rivals in Upper Deck's Heroes of Baseball game. Then see the Orioles and the Rangers. So call Ticket Center today and be there for a season to remember.
In this book, I found a pet, but no name. He's got no name yet. In this book, I found a home, so no name has the rights to roam. In this book, I found a bet, so no name's nose stays cold and wet. In this book, I found a ride to keep my no name by my side. But of all the things I've found, my pet, I haven't found no name's new name yet. The genuine Sue telephone yellow pages, nor the book can match it. A Bell Atlantic company.
The way my day goes, I need a big meal. You just try coaching 40 teenagers on an empty stomach. With these guys, when the going gets tough, we're talking worn out. I need a meal that's gonna put me back on top, but the price has got to be in the right ballpark.
The McDonald's Big Mac meal with large fries and a medium Coke is just $3.29 every day.
Now that's a winning pitch.
Student athletes reaching goals both on and off the field. Watch Pizza Hut Prep Profile for inspiring stories about kids we can be proud of. Thursdays at 5 on Channel 2.
Back here at the stadium, it's opening day, and I guess we'll all remember because it's the final opening day, but too bad, a game to forget all about here.
Yeah, nice weather. That's about one thing. And, of course, Mike Flanagan just, with his sense of humor, he just told the clubhouse guy that came out to get a jacket, he said, also take care of this mop, because that's what I'm doing, mopping up as the score is 9-1. I'm sure he's just happy to be out there.
Mike Flanagan back with the Orioles. He was traded away in right at the end of August in 1987. The Blue Jays in a pennant race, they picked him up, and he pitched awfully well for them in the stretch. The Orioles in that deal picked up Jose Mesa, and he'll be the starter here Wednesday night. And now Flanagan is back with the Orioles too, and he had just a fine spring.
The one thing that he can do, John, that he can get left-hand hitters out. And I tell you, any left-hand pitcher that can do that might pitch for a long, long time.
Strike one to Scott Fletcher, who hit a double in the sixth to drive in 2. He is 1 for 3 in the game.
If you talk to anybody in the Oriole camp, not only did he pitch well, but he threw the ball well. I mean, Bob Melvin would say he's thrown the ball as well as anybody. Now, with maybe the exception of Ben McDonald before he got hurt. So he's got the velocity, and he certainly knows how to pitch.
Well, he said Dr. Pappas told him that after the arm trouble he had last year that he gave it the rest it needed. It healed up. And he did those strength tests and whatever. And he says, hey, your arm is just as strong as it was 10 years ago. Good news. And Fanny said, yeah, but wasn't that strong 10 years ago, I'll tell you that. Here's Cal. Well, he played a tough hop cleanly, and he throws out Scott Fletcher. And that's Joe Morgan, the manager of the Red Sox, talking the other night down in Florida. He says, when you're in the dugout, you see those vicious tough hops, and he makes them look easy.
Rock.
Isn't that soft hands, Brooks?
Oh, it's.
I mean, it's the approach to catching it.
Right, absolutely. I don't know how you define soft hands, but it's giving a look. You know, it's not really sticking them down there. It's just out there and bringing them in and just kind of gracefully bringing the ball in, surrounding the ball.
Caressing it.
I like
you
that.
did it. I mean, all the great. I mean, Belanger had soft hands. Gritch had soft, probably a little bit not as soft as yours, but I mean, the way you guys used to just kind of draw the ball to you.
Going to get a chance again.
And Tim Raines is 0 for 5 today. You know, for the wrong man there.
Both those balls are not big hops. They're both in between hops. And
center fielder.
Cal takes them like they're
Johnson.
Big hops right to him.
Well, sometimes when you, I think, most of the time, if you're a fan of the stands, a guy like Cal or Bill and the people you're talking about, Belanger, Brooks, Gritch, they make it look so easy. They play tough hops smoothly and fluidly. You get a little jaded watching it all the time when they boot one because they're playing these tough hops all the time.
Well, it's what Brooks said a couple of years ago. He said, number one, getting in the proper fielding position, but also you got to consider the guys that are the best fielders have the best reflexes. They're able to move and adjust that glove at the last minute. It's not like they, I guess the way is the bad infielders, they stab at the ball. It's like, did I get it or not? You know, versus did they catch it way out in front of them? And I mean, it always seems to me that Cal Ripken, what he's able to do is position himself where it never looks like there's a tough play unless he has to dive for a ball.
Well, here's Flanny against the lefty, Lance Johnson, and he just threw that little breaking ball, devastating to left-handers, and he did it again, and it was devastating.
Hasta luego, as they say.
As Flanny says, hasta la bye-bye.
Yes.
Welcome back to Baltimore, Mike Flanagan, and there's something to cheer about. And they give him the ovation as he walks off the field. 3 up and 3 down.
Warning, cold starts can be tough on your car's engine. Fact, whether it's 35 below zero or 50 above, Quaker State 10W30 gets to all your engine parts faster than other leading 10W30s. Quaker State, it's one tough motor oil.
Tired of the same songs over and over?
Strike a pose, strike a pose, strike a pose, and strike a pose.
Now get more variety in your workday. Introducing the No Repeat Workday. It's new from Mix 106.5, and it's your guarantee that you'll hear more of your favorite songs from the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. More variety from Mix 106.5 and no repetition. Tune in, the No Repeat Workday only from Mix 106.5. Now with no repetition all day long.
A real country evening with dancing, dining, and bidding on hundreds of auction items is in store for all at the Children's Guild's EIEIO, Saturday, April 20th at 7:30 p.m. at St. Timothy's School in Stevenson. For tickets, call 444-3800.
Here we go to the last of the 9th inning. 9-1 White Sox.
I'll let you know the executive producer and director of Orioles baseball, one of Baltimore's own, Greg Missoni. Producer of the Orioles in 1991 is Harry Cakel. And coordinating our game here in Baltimore today is Mike Combrey.
And our special guest play-by-play man today was Vice President Dan Quayle. Here's Cal Ripken lead it off. This fella's not quite sure that the Orioles are going to come back in this one, I think.
Yeah, pondering what went wrong.
Sammy Sosa was one of the things that went wrong for the Orioles. 5 RBIs for him today. New second baseman of the game, by the way, for the White Sox, Joey Cora. He's got the same last name as Phil Rizzuto's wife's first name. Interesting note.
Oh, yes, it is. Kept me alert.
There's Cora. Joey Cora. Here's Cal. Foul. Cal today. 1 for 3 has scored the Orioles' only run. 9-1 White Sox. We were mentioning all the big names who changed uniforms. You agree with Tom Boswell? I mean, you ever see this many big stars changing uniforms in one off season?
I think it's very interesting. You know, when you talk about Joe Carter coming to Toronto, Fernandez, McGriff going to San Diego. I mean, you know, it's Bell going to long fly ball to right field. George Bell in with the Cubbies, but it is interesting, and I think it all stems from from a lot of times from the contracts, the no trade clauses, things of that nature that enter into it.
Sammy Sosa, it's his big day, a day to remember for him. 9-1 White Sox, 1 out. Glenn Davis will come up. How do you see the pennant races? Who do you like here in the East?
I like Boston.
Yeah, I like Toronto.
Well, Boston is ahead over Toronto, 6-1 in the ninth today. Jack Clark, a grand slam on the Maryland National Bank scoreboard.
See, I had the advantage of knowing, remembering that you said that Clark hit that grand slam early in the game. So,
all right, in the West, how about these White Sox? Can they overtake Oakland?
Oh, they're gonna. I think they're gonna have trouble winning 94 games, only because it's tough to win 94 games. Oakland's still the class, as far as I see it.
What about the Angels? Interesting lineup they put together this year.
I'm going to pick the Angels. I don't think they ever win, but I'm picking the Angels.
Okay, we'll talk about that over the course of the year.
Yeah, but I will tell you...
Jim's going to hold you to that.
One too many hot dogs, Brooks. I know that. It's distorted your thinking.
Wait a minute. I think Jim disagrees. What do you think?
We never agree on anything.
We want to start this season off just like last year.
All right, so we've got Oakland for Jim, and you're going with California?
California,
I like California. I think they're going to be a pretty...
So do I. You got a great tan out there. Yeah, it's good. It's wonderful.
What does he know about
How about
the
National League, John? You'll be doing National League baseball.
Well, in the National League, the Dodgers, of course, got Darryl Strawberry, and a lot of people like them in Los Angeles, but I don't know. How about you guys?
I like the Cubs and the Dodgers. Okay.
I'll go with the Cubs in Cincinnati.
Cincinnati, all right. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Davis. Fouls it off.
I like the way Don Zimmer said, you know what, everything goes according to Jim Fry's plans. He says, I'm going to be a real good manager this year. In other words, if Bell hits about 30 home runs, Sutcliffe gets well, Danny Jackson does his job, Dave Smith does his job as the new reliever acquired from Houston. It ought to be an interesting, I mean, it should be a terrific year for baseball, not only everywhere, but especially in Chicago.
Well, I think all the player movement is made for some real interesting looking lineups. Glenn Davis back to the warning track, and just a little bit short there. Corey Snyder hauls it in. Davis 1 for 4 with an RBI, and that'll bring up Dwight Evans. Well, I like the Cubs with George Bell because I think he is going to do well in that lineup. But I also think the Blue Jays are going to miss him because in a tight spot with a guy to be driven in a tight game, he was going to drive men. The Orioles learned many, many times over the years. Pretty good clutch player.
Yes, he was. They're hoping Joe Carter can fill that bill.
You like Joe Carter?
I like Joe Carter.
Well, you picked the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
That's right. You must like him. Strike to Dwight Evans. All right. So then you've got...
I picked the Orioles third.
The Orioles third.
Yeah.
How about you,
but with
Jim?
a chance.
What do you think?
I think actually they'll finish second.
Little tap. Ventura up with it. And that is the day for Jack McDowell, and that's the way the day went all through the afternoon. A very impressive performance for the young right-hander from Stanford. He equaled his career record with 10 strikeouts, and he pitches a 4-hitter in this 14-game winner a year ago, and Jim Palmer thinks he could win 20, and he certainly looked like it today.
Well, he has that kind of stuff, and we saw that today. We saw the overpowering fastball, the excellent control with only walk, with 1 walk. We saw the capability of striking people out. And I think the reason he'll win 20, at least an outside chance to do that, is because of the increased offense, which we also saw today, 9 runs for the White Sox.
And plus, the White Sox leadoff man Raines goes 0 for 5. The number 2 hitter goes 0 for 5, and they score 9 anyway. Just have somebody in the rest of that lineup to do some damage there.
213.
We're going to be back. 9-1 the final. White Sox over the Orioles.
What do you think? Here's a better idea.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome to the Bermuda Triangle.
No wonder nobody ever comes back.
Now over here, we're going to put that computer. You don't want it over there? I don't know.
When the moment comes to build your dreams, no card's better than Gold MasterCard.
This corner's for your weight machine.
With more buying power at nearly 3 times more places than American Express.
This wall's for your trophies. No pressure, though. Yeah.
Gold MasterCard, piece by piece, the best gold card to master the moment.
Now this is a baseball.
John Miller, Brooks Robinson, Jim Palmer, and this final home opener at Memorial Stadium is now of history. And unfortunately, I think for most of those who assembled here today, 50,213 of them, for the Orioles fans, the best thing about the day was that it ended from the standpoint of the ball game. It was all White Sox. The Orioles got the early lead. Looked pretty good in the first inning, but McDowell dominated them from that point, and Jeff Ballard stayed tough for a few innings. Then they gave it up in the sixth.
It looked like he made some bad pitches, 2 or 3 bad pitches in a row, and the White Sox banged out 5 or 6 base hits in a row, and the game was history. But McDowell, very impressive, John. He picked up just where he did before the last season, and in spring training, had an outstanding spring training. So, listen, he was the game today.
And for the Orioles, we are obligated to pick the Coca-Cola Classic Player of the Game, and we've gone with Glenn Davis. He did give the Orioles the lead, and Jim, that's an important run. It doesn't seem so now, but it did there.
Yeah, it did not turn out to be, but this put them ahead at a particular time until Sosa hit the 3-run shot off of Jeff Ballard. But again, today, great weather, great crowd, and the enthusiasm of the fact that we are now back into the 91 season. To me, that is what makes Baltimore such a great city to not only live in, but also broadcast for. So that enthusiasm will be there. The ball club will play better, and you know, you're never as bad as you think you are when you look at the scoreboard and you see yourself down by 8 runs.
So this homestand will continue. The final game of this very short homestand Wednesday. The Orioles and White Sox, Mesa and Hibbard. That does it from Memorial Stadium today. A reminder, our next telecast will be Friday at 8 o'clock for the Orioles on Deck with Scott Garceau. Then the Orioles take on the Texas Rangers at 8:30 on many of these network affiliates. Until then, this is John Miller for Hall of Famers Jim Palmer and Brooks Robinson. I enjoyed it.
Thank you. We did too.
And the entire WMAR sports team wishing you and yours a very pleasant good afternoon. Once again, the final score, it was the White Sox 9, the Orioles 1.
Orioles Baseball 1991 has been brought to you in part by Budweiser, the king of beers, who reminds you to please drink responsibly, because friends know when to say when. By your Baltimore area Nissan dealer. Nissan, setting the pace. By C&P Telephone Yellow Pages. No other book can match it. By your Baltimore area McDonald's family restaurant. Food, folks, and fun. And by Oldsmobile and the gallant men of Olds.
Nutrisystem. When someone believes in you, anything seems possible.
We go more places, we're more active, enjoy life better.
And more guys are looking at her lately. I don't like that.
I have more confidence and I'm outgoing and